honestly, bro, like the way that this shit goes down is insane. And if it was like, I'll say it again. If this was my girlfriend and we were in the airport, I would be knocking bitches the fuck out as hard as I can, punching for the nose and the teeth and the chin, anywhere that I know is going to knock them the fuck out. And then I'm going to knock the next one out, and then I'm going to knock the next one out until either they get me or there's no more bitches to knock out. I don't give a fuck. It's over, dude. Like, take me to jail when it's done, and I will go to court, and I will explain my actions in front of a judge, and if I need to, a jury. It's fine. I'd rather do that than have, like, the potential damage that happens to me and, you know, my girlfriend being the fucking key. But anyway, how's it going, everybody? Late Night with Honda, the greatest show on all the internet, where we just talk about bullshit and stuff. And I thought I'd start off by sharing this video. Again, it's not to shock anybody. This is not to, you know, disturb anybody. It's to inform you as to what's going on in the world. And I have to say that because of YouTube rules. Basically limiting what you can show without context. So I'm giving you the context beforehand, YouTube moderator, that we're showing this to show what is going on in the world and to ask the audience and the panel, what would you do in this situation if this was you? So here we go. The problem is, I guess I should say this before we start. We don't know the context, right? There's no context here. There's no, like, this happened, then that happened. And, you know, like, we don't know what happened. It's just a bunch of people, a bunch of African-American women beating up on a white woman in the airport and her boyfriend, presumably, and again, no context, don't really know. Her boyfriend's there trying to protect her, trying to, like, stop them from beating on her. So he's, like, laying down on top of her and, like, taking the beating for her as much as he can.
And security is nowhere to be found.
Well, actually, if you look right here, who are these three people?
Probably just airline employees.
Right. Then they're not doing they're not, like, trying to jump in. They're not trying to stop anything. They're not on a radio. They're not, like, running somewhere to get somebody. They're just standing there watching it.
Probably filming. They're like they was holding up cameras.
So then there's a cut, and we don't know what happened in between then and now in this cut, right? Because it goes from there on the fucking carousel, fucking going around, and he's, like, trying to lay on top of her to stop her from getting attacked. At some point, that stops, I guess, and then everybody gets up. Now they're just arguing. He's asking where's security at. Like, jeez. So it looks like it's over. Oh, no, wait, it's not over. Again, there's a cut. Who knows what happened there? Maybe she's a mouthy bitch. Maybe that lady, the girl with the pink pants and the blue pocket who's face down on the ground getting kicked right now, maybe she said some fucked up shit. I don't know.
Possibly.
Guess what? This is America, right? You can say fucked up shit to people all you want. There's sometimes physical consequences like this, but you're allowed to say it. You can say fucked up things if you want to. What you're not allowed to do under the law is physically assault somebody, even if they say fucked up shit, even if they get in your face and, you know, insult your culture and your religion and your skin color and your heritage and, you know, the clothes you're wearing and your kids and your mom and your wife and whatever else they want to fucking insult. You're still not allowed to punch them. You're still not allowed to assault them. Although in court, granted, if you do end up in a assault situation and there's mitigating circumstances like the person was egging you on and insulting you and calling your grandmother names, they usually go a little light on you when you're in court, you know. Usually, not always. It's always, you know, again, it's discretion of the judge and the prosecutor and all that stuff, how they play that out. But usually if there's circumstances that led you to like assault somebody, it's not like you just walking down the street and you punch somebody in the face or like domestic violence situation, that kind of thing. Like they tend to frown more on those. Actually, these days, dude, they just let you fucking go, don't they?
Pretty much.
Yep.
Depends on the state.
Unless you happen to have certain political affiliations, and especially if the arrest and circumstances to which the assault happened had anything to do with anything at all, then you're fucked, I guess. Live by the culture, die by the culture.
That damn white European culture. Hate it.
Bringing the streets into the airport. Gun Library Garrett says, Honda, thanks for keeping up the chats. You rock. Thanks, Garrett, man. You fucking rock. I gotta say I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody out there, and I do appreciate the super chats. Again, welcome, but not necessary. Super chats will always be answered. If you want to give me a subject to talk about, give me an @eHonda, and I'll try to get to those.
Did you hear Uvalde's back in the news?
No, what happened?
Another fucking shooting down there.
I saw it trending on Twitter, but I didn't get a chance to
I
look at it.
I think a couple of people are dead, and they have a couple of people in custody. From the sounds of it, if I can remember, it was like they just decided to go on a shooting spree. Just because.
Not at a school again, though. Yeah?
No. It wasn't at a school.
All right, well, I'll look that up. Let's finish this video real quick. We still got like 9 seconds left.
Is he trying to protect his old lady?
Yeah. That's it.
See, me, I'll just take my clothes off and get naked and start fighting all the bitches.
I'm serious, dude. I would just start fucking uppercutting fucking coochies left and right.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right in the fucking lips, dude.
Right. When I first saw it, like, man, I'll be biting ears and noses off.
What was it over? I was kind of late because
it's without context. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's no context to it. It just kind of starts off like this is where it starts. They're on the carousel getting beat by like 8 women. 8 of them.
The aftermath.
I ain't got a problem knocking a bitch out.
What's that, Ohio?
I said the aftermath of 2020, the uptick in violence as we're seeing the last couple of years now.
Yeah.
Well, I just real quick in like 10 minutes scrolled through Twitter, and there was like 15 videos that I found of just like shit like this or worse, like dude in traffic almost gets shot, dude walking down the street gets punched in the face, chick walking down the street gets mugged by 3 black dudes, like craziness.
And it's all Democrat-run cities if you look into it hard enough.
Yep.
All right, what's going on in Uvalde? Before we do that, Daniel dropped in $2, said, you ever mess around with Pixel Planet? I don't even know what that is.
Never heard of it.
Nor I.
Okay, police are investigating a shooting with injured victims at a park in Uvalde, Texas, authorities say.
So, any shooting that happens in Uvalde now is going to be...
2 victims have been airlifted to San Antonio Memorial. 2 victims?
I thought I remember them saying that 2 died.
Well, this might have been early on. Still, though, like 2 people getting shot is now a mass shooting. Uvalde police said it responded to a shooting with injured victims at the Uvalde Memorial Park around 5:30 p.m. Thursday, with a suspect gang-related shooting, and Texas Department of Public Safety said, adding that it was working with the police department and sheriff's office. The information is primarily as the situation develops, we will work with local law enforcement, blah, blah, blah. And here's the quote from Texas DPS. We're working with the Uvalde Police Department and Sheriff's Office following a suspected gang-related shooting at Memorial Park. This information is primarily the situation develops. We'll work with law enforcement. Okay, yeah. There you go. That's early on, I guess.
I think they also said that the the actual shooters were underage, and they were, like you said, gang affiliated.
Well, that kid got shot 3 times, and he needs medical bills, so I'm assuming he's still alive. Oh, Angry's here. Angry's here!
I am here.
I haven't talked to you for ages. I feel like you got a girlfriend or something.
Something like that. You talked to me last night. Jesus
Well,
Christ.
yeah, last night for like 5 minutes about the Trump rally and stuff that you've been up to.
I know. I haven't been on the chats and stuff. I actually just got back from up there. I just drove back home to Philly. So.
I am. Nice, man. Well, good to see you. You know anything about this Uvalde shooting that happened?
Another one?
Another one.
Happened, I think, a couple days ago.
Where?
At some park. I don't know. I was just reading about it. They're saying it's gang-related shooting, though. So that's kind of where I'm at. Is like, yeah, okay. There's gang-related shooting that happened to be in the same city where there was a school shooting, and that's why it's in the news.
That's the only reason why it's even made the news is because it's in the same city. Otherwise, it'd be swept under the rug.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Pixplanet.fun. Check it out. LOL. It's a draw one map.
Draw on map.
What is that?
A map you can draw on?
Oh man. Let me pull it up on not the screen I'm sharing. Just in case this is a meatspin.com type situation.
Right.
It's meatspin.com, but you can draw on it.
Draw the splooge coming out.
Yep.
PIXEL.
It's actually click to control. You can click on it and spin it your own way.
Mm-hmm. Daniel said there's just some funny shit on there.
Whoa. Okay. There's nothing on here like titties or anything. What is this, dude? You like scroll in and oh, they got pancakes and kiwis and weird shit. Oh, there's the queen or something. I don't know who that is. But then you scroll out and it's a map of the world.
There's definitely some stuff on there you probably shouldn't be sharing, but
Yeah.
there's the funny shaped ninja star.
Australia's fine.
Boxing kangaroo.
Yeah, that's it. That and like some chick in a bikini.
Yeah, they're like some hooker. Hey, Mario.
Okay. Pixel Planet.
Oh,
there's another one.
Fucking ninja stars everywhere.
Does everyone get to draw on this, apparently?
I guess so.
They let the Nazis in.
Daniel said there is titties, but they're drawn on. LOL.
Yeah, I don't think drawn titties matter. You can draw all the titties you want. Okay, check this out. This is Oakland, California. And again, I will ask you, for the purposes of YouTube chat live streams, this is not to shock anybody. This is not to show you fucking violence and do all that stuff. This is to ask you guys, what would you do in this situation, and to inform you that this is what's going on in the world.
Educational purposes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a green light. Dude pulls out in front of him. Would you beep? I think I'd beep. I think everybody would beep. So up to this point, everybody would be in the same situation, right? And here's what happens.
Holy shit.
So his answer was to drive around the guy. And I'll admit, he reacted pretty fucking quick.
Yes,
from the time the guy gets out of the car to, like, he doesn't even have a chance to, like, raise the gun up all the way before the dude's on the gas.
Would you... my question would be, would you go around or would you T-bone?
This is like something personal. Because that was too quick for him just to hop out with the gun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Methamphetamines are a terrible drug, man. And you never know what mindset someone's in You beep at the wrong person at the wrong time who thinks that they're the man and this and that or whatever. This might happen.
Unless you were looking for a reason to come at anybody.
Okay, like for
Yeah.
instance, Leia, when you're driving around in Chicago and someone like cuts you off, do you give them the finger?
Nope, not really.
Why not?
I'll just let them on pass. I don't give nobody the finger or nothing like that.
Right, but if you did, what might happen? Would there be trouble?
Possibly.
Yeah, that's why you don't, because you don't want fucking trouble. And trouble could be anywhere from like, oh, now you got to fucking pull over, like getting in some road rage thing, all the way to he jumps out with a fucking handgun. You know? Daniel says, I'd have it floored. And I was thinking, like, that was my first thought. But then he's trapped in the, like, on your hood with a gun still in his hand, potentially. Maybe
Potentially.
going around him is the best idea.
Yeah. I mean, because if you T-bone him, you're going to get insurance stuff and have to deal with all that legal ramification. But at the same time, going around, like, I don't know if this guy's plan is to hop back in the truck and chase after me. Like, I don't know. So I guess it depends on the situation. Like, if I'm just by myself and I think I can outrun him and get somewhere safe and or someplace safer where I can, you know, be more prepared for him if he does follow me, that's one thing. But if I'm, like, with loved ones in the car or something like that, I don't know.
See, and I haven't been in this exact situation, but I've been in a similar situation where a guy pulled a gun in traffic and, like, my answer wasn't to crash into him or pull my gun out and start shooting. My answer was to fucking gas it, you know? Get the fuck away.
Right. Natural instinct.
And then, you know, once you're running, you're running, you know, like, you know. Daniel says he'd be in two halves with my bumper. LOL. What kind of bumper do you have? You like a samurai sword bumper? That's some shit you need, is like a BLM bumper or
just
something.
like instead of the old like cow catchers on the front of trains that are like this, you need just one inverted like this, which is like slice.
I don't know, man. Like, what would you call that? The riot bumper?
Kinsu bumper.
Eesh.
I call it the butter knife.
Oh, can't watch that one.
They call
Same
this the
video.
pedestrian pathfinder.
Oh, you guys want to see how cobalt is mined?
Ooh.
Yeah. These are the kids making your cobalt mining done for your fucking electric cars and shit for the batteries.
I feel like I saw this movie. Isn't Leonardo DiCaprio supposed to save them or something?
Damn.
I mean, technically, they are employed. They have jobs.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no.
You
Have
can
you guys
one.
Have you guys been watching the new Lord of the Rings bullshit?
No.
No.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Does
yeah.
this remind you of something from that?
Yep. Yeah. When's the orcs gonna come and start yelling at them?
That guy reminds me of Don Lemon. Don Legolas.
Yeah.
Don Limon.
I did binge watch Cobra Kai season 5 last night.
Oh shit, is that any
The
good?
entire thing. I think it's the least entertaining of all the seasons, if you ask me.
I still gotta watch 4 and 5. I'm too far behind.
Yeah. It had its moments.
I agree with you on that, Leo. I binge watched it too, and I was not a fan of the first 2 episodes at all.
Yeah.
Okay, this is in Chicago. I'm not sure exactly where in Chicago. Suburban Chirac. Lady walking down the street. Three dudes come in. I don't know if they're just taking her shit, if they're planning on doing more. They were on her for a minute.
I think this might have been Rogers Park.
Okay, again, what do? You're walking down the street. You see a suspicious car just stop in the middle of the street. You got to have some situational awareness. You got to see that thing and be like, that's a little odd. Doesn't mean you're going to like pull out your gun and start blasting like fucking Frank, you know?
Yeah.
But
I would have at least turned and faced them, and that way I could see it coming and react.
Well, especially when they jump out of the car and start moving quickly, like that's super red flag right there.
Oh hell yeah!
But
I mean, my hand is already on the handle.
Exactly.
At that point,
there you go.
I know somebody who stopped in the middle of the street got a 357 Taurus put to him. I don't know who that was, but
Yeah, I think I heard about that.
Yeah.
Fucking Chicago, man. What was it over Memorial Day weekend? They had like 54 people shot. Like 27 of them were dead. I'm making these numbers up. But they were like, whoa, but it's 33% down from last year.
Right. Because everybody's dead. That's why.
It was legitimately like 55 shot this past weekend.
My neighbor got killed downtown yesterday morning. So
what?
Yep, they followed him all the way. Well, he was in a car chase. Right, the guy followed him all the way to downtown while still shooting him and the girl that was in the car. Killed him. The girl's still alive.
Jesus Christ, dude. Did she get shot too, or was she just...
Yeah, she got shot.
Wow.
I think she took one in the back, and he took most of it in his torso, from what the news reports say.
What did he do? Was he just driving, or did he know the guy, or like...
They don't know at this point.
Oh, shit. Savage is here. The Savage. Savage Sharpshooter 93. Dude, I still got to get a Savage. I don't have a Savage. I was thinking about getting one when I got that 308 hunting rifle, but the Mossberg was just cheaper. So, and I kind of like it too, to be honest. But how's it going, Savage? Long time no see. We're just looking at some internet videos of violence and debauchery and whatever else we can find. Like Pennsylvania. Wait, isn't that near you, Angry, kind of?
I mean, it's kind of a big state, so you're going to have to narrow it down a little bit.
It just says Pennsylvania. I don't know.
It's probably Kensington Avenue.
Well, stop making assumptions on my people.
Oh, big news for me too. Again, they finally removed the homeless camp that's across the street from my house. Thank God.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long till they move back in?
Shoot, there's already people standing out in front of it now. Even the police been keeping 24-hour watch on it.
So what do we... Oh, we're just watching like a really shit-filled street. I mean, this could literally be this could be Harrisburg. This could be someplace in Philly. Could be Chester. Could be...
There's places in Denver that are worse than this.
Pittsburgh, could be anywhere. Like, this could be a million of our bigger cities.
Whoop.
I've seen that one, yeah.
Fucking magic.
Yeah, have you seen the video? It's kind of like a mashup. I think it's some Asian country where cars just all of a sudden hit nothing. There's nothing there, but they crash into something, or it looks like they get hit by something. There's one guy that was walking across the road, and he just starts flying down the road like something hit him.
No.
Ghost.
Yeah,
Is this a real video, or is this like a fake video?
It looked like a real video, so I'm not sure.
Oh, I just looked at this super sticker. It says, "Thanks for being you." You can't see him from StreamYard. You actually have to go to YouTube to see him. Food shortage, riots. Look at these people fucking drilling holes in tankers' cars and shit, or tankers' tires and shit. Like, this is straight up domestic terrorism, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes.
100%. It'd be fucking hilarious if one of those tires popped like that from them doing that and just fucking got them.
Do you guys know what a scraper is? Like in big heavy equipment,
Yes.
like
No.
dirt moving shit. Okay, so a scraper's tire is 8 feet tall, give or take. It's been a while since I've stood next to one, but I remember them being taller than me, right? And if they pop, like if you have like a blowout in one of those and you're standing next to it, it can kill you. Like, it can send a fucking piece of rubber out big enough and fast enough to fucking take your life away.
Yeah, they used to have with tires, they had what they called split rims, where it had like this ring that went on top of the rim when you put the tire together. And I don't know how many times I heard stories about those fucking rings coming off and just decapitating people or flying hundreds and hundreds of feet in the air before they finally came down.
Yeah, I was on the site when one of those tires blew up. Wasn't anywhere near it. No one was. But, dude, it sounded like a bomb. Like, that thing was fucking loud. Because they have so much air pressure in them to, like they're big fucking, basically, like, it's like a rock truck tire, you know? Like, they're just giant fucking tires. Oh, the queen is dead. Long live.
What was with all the protesting right after the queen died there?
I don't know, man. I've been busy last couple of days. You tell me.
Yeah,
I didn't even know they were protesting.
Yeah, it started I don't remember where it started, but it ended up at Buckingham Palace.
I think it was about like imperialism and how she
Was it
kind of
like sex trafficker?
sex trafficker and like imperialism. Like she didn't stop it. She just kind of
Perpetrated it.
Yeah, it just protest about that. That's all it's saying. It says stop. He's just you're saying rest in peace to a queen who could like something in the long lines of like accepted imperialism.
There was one sign that someone had where it was might have been Prince William. It was one of the fucking princes that said was a pedophile.
Oh, I'm sure there wasn't one of the princes was on the Epstein flight log several times.
Yeah.
If I remember.
Andrew, yeah, it was Andrew, Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
Shit. Who hasn't been on that flight log?
Not me, man.
That's the question right there.
Lots of people who don't have money.
Quite a few people, yeah.
And that's just the ones we know about. Imagine the ones we don't.
Do you think it's like necessarily true that if you were on the flight log with him that you like were into some shit?
I don't believe all of them were. I think they were just like guests of someone else. You know, they went with someone else, and those parties they didn't actually do anything. It was just a party.
Here's the thing.
That was just a pre-screen party just to fill you out.
That's the thing, though. Like, even if you went to that party, like, there's no way they went to that island with all those people and didn't like see or hear something. And the fact that they still decided not to say anything about it, in my book, still makes them guilty.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys know who Jimmy Savile is?
Yes.
No.
So Jimmy Savile was a UK like English fucking TV personality who did like comedy skits and stuff with kids, and he ran all of these like child benefit programs that would like help kids out who were in need, or you know, like orphans and stuff like that. He would give money to the orphans, and like he was very well known for being like philanthropist for children in the UK. And it turns out that he was a well-known pedophile to the government. And the government kept covering it up, and people kept covering it up for him because of all the good that he did for kids, even though he fucking occasionally took one and raped him for a week or whatever. And that was like a huge thing. And I think it wasn't until he died that all that stuff came out, or like he was dying or dead, one of the two. And then all of the information came out because it was like, well, no one can do anything about it now, you know? So might as well tell the truth. Yeah. Jimmy Savile. It's been a while since I looked into that. I could have some details of that wrong, to be honest.
No, it was pretty much spot on. Have you guys ever seen the documentary An Open Secret?
Yes. Remind the class.
So it came out a couple years ago. It was basically, this is where they outed Brian Zinger, Brian Peck, and Brock Pierce as pedophiles. And it was basically about how back in the 90s and early 2000s, those three guys tended to have parties with a lot of young males between like 10 and 15 or so, give or take, and basically would take them into bedrooms and rape them and stuff like that. And it was also about how many people were managers for acting and stuff and would take these kids into their homes and have them live with them and basically molest them as well. And they were also talking about how it was like, I think 4 or 5 to 1 males to females that get molested in Hollywood.
Okay. So I haven't seen this video. I don't know what this is besides what the people are saying. Marjorie Taylor Greene deleted this video from her Facebook page. She doesn't want anyone to see it, so she probably wouldn't like it if you retweeted. But then the story above says Marjorie Taylor Greene calls for the death of Nancy Pelosi for treason. She deleted this video from her Facebook page.
She's a traitor to our country. She's guilty of treason. She took an oath to protect American citizens and uphold our laws. And she gives aid and comfort to our enemies who illegally invade our land. That's what treason is. And by our law, representatives and senators can be kicked out and no longer serve in our government. And it's a crime punishable by death.
Yes, that's all true. Where's the part of this that's so terrible? Maybe it's coming up.
Is what treason is. Nancy Pelosi is guilty of treason, and we want her out of our government. She's held her seat of power for 32 years. She's 78 years old. She is dying in Congress. We are fed up with these corrupt politicians that hang on to their power just to make themselves rich. She's a traitor to our country.
Okay. I don't see what the problem is here.
I don't either.
Why are they freaking out about that when you got fucking what's that? The
Maxine Waters.
Thank you. I couldn't remember her name. Maxine Waters standing up saying, "You go to them and you get in their face and you get violent," or whatever the fuck she said, dude.
Yeah.
Just say James Brown.
James.
She actually went on a second tirade. It was when that one guy that was killed in Minneapolis there by the cop that was yelling taser, taser, taser. She was at that rally after that, and she called for violence again during that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's something that they do again and again, and then have no memory for when the other side does even something like it, and they scream at the top of their lungs that they're trying to destroy democracy and overthrow the government and all this stuff. It's like, okay, like January 6th. What was the date of it was like November 28th or something like that, when there was the BLM protest in Washington, D.C. that forced President Trump into the bunker, that they like injured several police officers and burned down a church and tore down gates and did all this stuff. You remember that? I don't remember when the date was exactly, but like no one fucking talks about that shit like it's some sort of attempted coup to the government by trying to get President Trump, which was really what they would have, like, if that crowd would have got to Trump, what do you think would have happened? If the MAGA crowd had gotten to Nancy Pelosi, they'd probably like fucking throw food at her or something. I don't know. Like I don't think they wouldn't hurt her, you know? Maybe they would.
Most likely just yell in her face.
Never enough ranch. Says, do you offer blackened ranch at your job, or are you just a racist? Probably the second one.
I knew it.
I think it was the 5-9 insurrection. Okay. 5-9. Yeah, so anytime someone says January 6th, you go 5-9, bitch. And then they'll think you're like talking about Eminem or something.
Paul Wall, I think. But they don't something like that.
Feminism versus reality.
Feminism is a scam.
Hold on, let me turn this up.
Feminism is a scam. A few years ago, I was an angry, blue-haired feminist. I once believed that male privilege was real and that I was a victim of the wage gap. Now that I understand the true motives of feminism, I know that this could not be further from the truth, and that modern-day feminism is a war on true masculinity. Before women had the right to vote, most were stay-at-home wives, which meant they weren't working jobs and couldn't be taxed. Our overlords didn't like that. Rockefeller started funding feminist campaigns in media, and as a consequence of the movement, women started entering the workforce and leaving the home. Children would then be separated from their parents and sent to Rockefeller-funded schools to be indoctrinated by the state. All of this ultimately disrupting the family unit at its core. Feminism is defined as the belief in social, economic, and political equality of the sexes. But in the West, I must ask, what rights do men have that women don't? Modern feminists are convincing women that hookup culture, using hormonal birth control, and not shaving is liberation. That toxic masculinity is prevalent and the patriarchy must be dismantled. Through movies and media, we're taught that working for the man, climbing the corporate ladder, and paying tax is more empowering and valuable than raising the next generation. Women have lost touch with our natural loving instincts, and birth rates are plummeting. Men and women are not the same. And by protesting for equality of outcomes rather than opportunity, feminists are demonizing and emasculating men.
I like it, dude. Everything she said is true. I mean, all the way back to the Rockefellers coming in and like promoting and funding feminist programs in America, and the workforce expanding and what that did to the children, and putting children in child indoctrination camps called schools, where you basically have to fucking get in line. And what happens if you're like one of those kids who thinks for themselves and gets in trouble all the time? Oh wait, you get in trouble all the time. Really, is what happens. You're always in the principal's office. You're always having to call home and be like, yep, did this. Yep, didn't turn that in. Whatever it is, dude. I never.
Now you just get put on Ritalin.
Yeah, well, they tried to do that. I didn't take. There was part of it that I wanted to talk about. Hold on.
If kids didn't get in trouble, the Breakfast Club would have never happened.
Well, the wage gap's another huge lie too, right? Like the whole, well, women make 70 cents in the dollar of what men make. Okay, if you add all women together and all men together and then average out how much they make, then that's true. But especially today, have you looked into like what the newest generation upcoming kids are making these days? Like,
yeah, now it's like the women get paid more.
The women get paid significantly more than the young boys do. A lot of the young men can't even get fucking jobs, first of all. And second of all, when they do, they're working side by side with a woman making more than him to make up for this imagined gap, right?
Right.
And then they're not having kids because they're in these careers, and then they get to like 30, 32 years old, something like that, and the fucking biological clock starts ticking, and they want that kid. And then they've got like precious little time, and they got to freeze eggs and do all this stuff if they actually want to have a kid. Most of them don't even do that. And they end up these like 45-year-old fucking Karens asking for the manager at the fucking grocery store. It sucks, dude. That's all. Everyone's been tricked, especially women. And I like, here's what I heard from all of this. Get back in the kitchen. Make me a sandwich. Ooh. God.
Damn.
We must have the same timeline because I've been watching the same videos. I remember this.
Oh my god.
Is that oh fuck, what's his name? Squints? Squints from
Squints from fucking Sandlot.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is true. I heard this a while back. Didn't he marry that chick in real life?
Yeah. I'm almost
so he like made out with her in the movie as like a 12-year-old boy. and was like, "That's it. This is my goal now." But the thing is, he fucking made it happen. He got that shit. He got her, dude.
He played the long game.
Yeah. Good job. Props. The problem is, like, she's like 10 years older than him or something. So when he's 50, she's going to be like 60 and haggard. Are you afraid of sharks?
Not really, no.
Yeah, not really.
What if you were in the ocean and you saw this shit?
I'm afraid of seaweed if I was in the ocean. So
it's true. That's literally happened to me. I had some seaweed brush up against my foot, and I swear to God, it was a great white shark for about 5 seconds, which is a really long time. What's that?
I said, did you walk on water? I guess not.
We don't make those kinds of jokes here, Corey.
It's blasphemous.
That's
It's blasphemy.
Do you think God has a sense of humor?
No.
Yes.
Doesn't he have to? You know, like, because we have it, so like we had to get it from somewhere. Like, if you buy into that, right?
It's from the devil.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
I've heard him try to make jokes before.
Fucking smoke.
Right.
Corey, he said Corey would ride that shark. He's a cowboy. Fuck it, why not?
I heard he makes a lot of black jokes, so.
There's a lot of people in here who probably think that they don't. What's up, weirdos?
What the fuck was that? Look at the turtle's gonna drown, but the turtles are gonna help him, right? Is that what turtles do?
Oh.
Yes, that's what turtles do. Turtle power. Turtle power.
Have you seen that one video where some people were fishing out in the ocean and this shark comes by and it has a big ass fucking turtle in its mouth when they're trying to save the turtle from the shark?
No.
Yeah. And the turtle's like trying to get on the boat or whatever.
Yeah. And they end up getting the turtle, saving it.
Daniel says, "No, Night Strike can't take a joke for shit." It's true. Don't shoot him when he's coming up the ramp when you're fucking finishing the level. He will never forgive your ass for that.
Right. Speaking of that, where's fucking Duke and Matt?
I had predictions. Well, I don't think Duke's coming, first of all. Second of all, Matt was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll see you on the chat later." Like, you've said that before and then not shown up. And you said it exactly like that when you didn't show up. So I challenge you, Matt. I challenge you to defy me and show up for this chat, because I don't think you will.
Well, usually we try to call you by saying we need a couple ramps or where's the iced tea? We need a server. Do we have anything like that for Matt?
How often does that work? I know it's worked at least once.
It's worked a couple times.
Just have a dinner bell ready.
Like, I don't know. If Matt shows up right now, I'll send him free ammo. Nothing? I would figure free ammo would get Matt, if anything.
No, you gotta summon him by saying something like, I don't know, like sprinkles and coconut are a proper food group or something along those lines.
Sprinkles are the shit that, you know, the epitome of food. That's what food strives to be, is sprinkles.
Taurus and Maverick 88s are terrible. You should never buy a Taurus or a Maverick 88 because they're shit.
The Sig Nightmare is an ugly fucking piece of shit gun.
Is there a manly way to ask for sprinkles on your ice cream?
Steyr Oggs are my least favorite bullpup.
I guess I would just say, can I have sprinkle? I don't know.
Right. Yo, let me get some motherfucking sprinkles on that bitch.
Burritos or tacos?
Oh, I got it. We live in a democracy.
Texas is a part of California.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Oh, that's some shots fired.
Oklahoma
I just want it to be funny.
I know.
Oklahoma is better than Texas.
Okay, that's even
Burritos are
worse.
different from tacos.
There's no such thing as a breakfast taco.
Nancy Pelosi is Matt's mom.
Chorizo doesn't taste good.
Selma Hayek is ugly.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I like avocados and almonds.
Almond.
Okay, now I got a problem with that.
Pecan pie is the best pie.
It's funny how many things piss Matt off. We got all the ammo in the world when it comes to that. Oh, this is kind of a cool room.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
It's got to be in Colorado.
Colorado.
Yep, Colorado. Colorado politics. Get out and vote.
Smoke's throwing out some fighting words saying Oklahoma owns Texas.
Dang.
Would you buy one of these? These Keltec fucking
Fuck no.
PMR?
You
No.
seen the charging handle for it? It's all flimsy and you can like pull it out and just wiggle it around.
You have to like disassemble
Heard
the
that
gun.
before.
You have to like disassemble the gun to load the mag.
Yeah, you gotta pop the top and hinge it up to put the mag in.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. Like, it's obvious, and like without the mag in it, it's like this thing is got a big hole in the middle of it. You know, it's just weird. I don't like it. I've decided I don't like Keltec. I know you guys come out with some interesting things or whatever, but it's not for me. I'm cool with not having any Keltec for the rest of my life.
Yeah, same here. The only one that I might consider buying because is the Sub 2000, but even that is just meh. I just like the fact that it's foldable.
And it can take Glock magazines.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, but I don't have a Glock, so that's gone. Unless they come out with like the Canic version.
You don't have a
Which
Glock?
they
So I
won't.
thought you had one.
No, I was thinking about getting one, then I didn't. And then I was thinking about getting one, then I didn't. Then I was thinking about getting one, and then I didn't. And now it's like I've gone so long without getting one. Should I get one now? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it because I don't have one.
If you were going to get one, what would you get?
The 19 or the 42?
So
Wait,
I was-
the 42 is the 380, right?
Man, I don't know.
That was the 43.
Yeah,
42.
42 is the 380. Yep.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting the 380 just to have another 380. And I also want to get a 19. Because who doesn't really? I mean, right? It's a 19, so.
What in the Alabama Betty Crocker was that gun? The fuck is an Alabama Betty Crocker? I gotta look that shit up.
Is it like an Alabama Hot Pocket?
I'm thinking it might be. We need
Now,
Urban Dictionary. Hold on.
but now I'm thinking like, do I want a 45 or a 40 caliber? Something in there. Because I have 9s and 380. Do I start going bigger?
Okay, well, there's not Alabama Betty Crocker, but there's Alabama Betty Bitch Tarnation.
Superbad says it's a person who cooks meth.
What in the Alabama Betty Bitch Tarnation? Yeah, okay.
So at that point, would you just say call him Walter White?
The name's Heisenberg or whatever. Heisenberg. You put blue dye in your meth to make it look like mine. Do you think he's happy? Like his fucking mom died, but he's king now or whatever? It's like, god damn, she took 72 years in office or whatever. She was in power for like 72 or 74 years. She's
72.
the longest standing monarch in English history.
I saw a meme about him where it said after she died, it was his first day at work. He hasn't worked in 73 years.
Wasn't the Queen of England the wealthiest landowner in the world too? Not that she owns the most land, but the value of the land that she owns is greater than the value of what any other individual owns in land. I think I remember that too.
I don't know.
Dana dropped in a super chat. Now I gotta find it real quick. Okay. Here's a video. Oh, I gotta it muted fucking YouTube. There we go.
What in cousin fucking tarnation, Alabama Betty Crocker, Miss fucking Betty White shit is this?
That's some redneck ingenuity right there.
What in cousin?
It has a motorcycle double front end.
Fucking tarnation, Alabama Betty Crocker, Miss fucking Betty White. What shit is this?
That's a chopper. That's a chopper.
I wish I could like pause it and get it clear. Like I can't see what is that a. It almost looks like it's a person there, but it can't be, right? Like that's like a helmet.
I see what you're saying.
No,
it almost look like it, but no, I don't think so.
Wow.
Oh.
That's some Betty Crocker bullshit if I ever saw.
Hey, but it works though. It's working.
Getting down the road.
Yeah,
I don't know how far. But if you need to go just down the street to the store and back to Walmart, you know.
What if you need to make a hard left turn?
You're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
I quit vaping nicotine anyway. Check it out. I'm still on it. It's been what, like 2 weeks now?
Congrats.
Yeah, man. I occasionally give in and hit this thing, but it's no more than 3 or 4 times a day, which is the equivalent of like a quarter of a cigarette, you know? So I'm barely using it at all.
Actually, that's the COVID vaccine patch.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's how they get you.
Yep.
Go, you want to quit smoking, huh? I don't know, man. It's going pretty good, though. I got to say, if you want to get off cigarettes, here's what you do. You give yourself a rule that you can no longer smoke cigarettes. You can only vape, right? And then after about a week, you're completely dependent on the vape. The vape is your, like, lifeline. And everywhere you go, if you don't have it with you, you feel like you're naked. And what I should have done is immediately at that point, switched over to the patch, because the patch gives you the nicotine just like the vape does, and it gives you a nice steady stream of it. You never feel like you need it at all, and as long as you can just like get over the impulse to constantly suck on something and breathe it in, then you're fine.
I tried to vape it. I can't handle it. Makes me cough too much.
Yeah, and it was honestly giving me problems too. Like when I think about it, like my lungs were kind of like always gummed up, you know, like you could hear it when I'm talking. Like I sounded like I had phlegm in my throat all the time. I'd also get weird fucking canker sores in my mouth, because like you scratch the inside of your mouth, it heals up. You scratch the inside of your mouth and you're vaping nicotine all day, the nicotine juice gets into the fucking scrape in your mouth and makes it into a canker sore that doesn't go away. And it sucks. And then I was having like weird fucking things with my throat. Like my throat would hurt really bad when I would sneeze. Like I'd sneeze and I don't know, dude. Like I couldn't swallow for like a minute and a half to like wait for my throat to like reset or something. And all of that's gotten better. Every single one of those things. And then the other thing that I noticed is sleeping at night. Like my nose kept getting stuffed up because of the vape, and then like you get the phlegm in your throat and you're laying down and then your nose gets stuffed up, right? Well, then I would start breathing through my mouth all night long because my nose is stuffed up. And then I'd wake up with like the driest fucking mouth you've ever had and like gross ass shit that you got to rinse out for like 5 minutes in the back of your throat, you know, like that kind of stuff. So I'm glad to be done with it. Honestly, like I'm glad that I'm on the patch and it's working well and I'm not having like fucking weird urges or, you know what I mean? Like I'm not having problems. I'm just doing it. So yeah, and 2-week supply is $32. That's cheaper than smoking.
Good for you, man.
I've smoked for goddamn too long anyway.
Congrats, bro. I'm glad you're slowly getting off of the cigarettes.
It's kind of tough because sometimes I still want a fucking cigarette. I gotta admit, you know, even though it's been a while since I've even smoked cigarettes. I've been vaping for a year and a half, something like that. But still, on occasion, something pisses me off, or you get just drunk enough, or whatever it is, and you want a fucking cigarette.
Just get a box of cigars.
I hate cigars, dude.
Really?
Yeah, I've never liked them. They've always made me kind of feel sick too when I smoke too much.
How about pipe tobacco?
I love the smell of pipe tobacco before you burn it. Like fresh pipe tobacco.
Oh, yeah.
But as soon as you start burning it, it smells like butthole.
That to me. Pipe tobacco smell the same as when you open up that bag. You get that good whiff.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, there was this like shitty mall in Aurora that you could go to that had a really cool like sports card and like magic cards and stuff like that shop. Right? We would go there and get Marvel cards and all this other stuff and comic books. But they also sold pipe tobacco. So it was like the weirdest shop ever. They sold bubblegum, pipe tobacco, and like stuff for kids and like baseball cards and shit.
Smells like America to me.
But yeah, I love the smell of that, dude. It brings me back. Just smoke a blunt. Yeah, I mean, that's basically a cigar anyway, yeah. Half of one. Cops got the fancy cars. I don't want to hear about a cult of personality in North Korea again. Although, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
When the leader of North Korea dies, it's like mandatory for everyone to cry. Like they have to cry. And if you don't cry, it's like, all right, to the gulag.
And if you don't cry good enough, make it believable.
Like there's stories in communist Russia where everyone has to clap. And like they just keep clapping for a really, really unnaturally long time because no one wants to be the first one to stop clapping. Communism. Well, look who's here.
Hi, I'm your penis. Nice to meet you.
My penis talks. And it's just meeting me for the first time somehow.
Yeah. Well, it did want to hang out with a loser, so.
I mean, I don't feel like this rabbit's going to do well. I feel like it's going to get eaten by an alligator like any second.
Nope.
All right, no alligators.
Notice how the ears go in swim mode.
Yeah, I've never seen a fucking rabbit swim. I was just going to say. Yeah, right to swim mode. So what's up? How was the store?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Did you get your cigarettes?
I did.
I was just telling everybody how I stopped vaping and I'm on the patch now.
The COVID patch.
Bunch of violent stories. Did you see the fucking fight at the airport where that dude was trying to protect his girlfriend, Matt? Let me try to find it again. It was in the news feed like 5 times. Now I can't fucking find it. Seriously? I'm already back to where I was. Bear with me, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find this fucking shit that I watched like 3 times today.
And it's gone.
It's gone. The internet ate it. Ooh. I'll look at that for a second. There we go. There, I feel better. You guys feel better? I didn't really want to watch that video anyway. Matt doesn't like blondes.
Not really. I like fake blondes, however. Like when it's obviously fake blonde hair. That doesn't bother me.
This one appears to be a fake blonde.
But it's a little too well done, and you could see her being a blonde. I don't know. It looks a little too real on her. I like it when like chicks have like black hair, and like you still got some like black roots and shit. No, it's very obviously fake. It's very 90s. I still think the chicks in the 90s are hot. I liked the chicks in the 90s I grew up with.
I like the 80s chicks.
Fucking like alternative girls who wore like fucking a tank top underneath like a fucking flannel shirt and shit. You know what I mean? Had all the fucking dark makeup on and shit. You know?
So you like cholas?
Listen to Nirvana, shit like that. Yeah, cholas? Yeah, fuck yeah. Except I don't like the fucking eyebrows, man. The chola fucking like they always look surprised and shit. No, hell no.
Yeah. They always look surprised. Dear Lord, I cannot find this fucking video I'm looking for to try to show you for the life of me. It's not going to happen. A bunch of shit I'm just skipping I haven't even seen yet. Oh, did you see this?
We don't need any more nigger face.
Oh, I can't say that on the internet.
What did you just do?
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. So no context. You're at the airport with your wife. And this is happening to you. What do you do, Matt? What do you do?
Okay.
So, and his answer is to lay on top of her and take the beating.
Oh, is that what? I couldn't tell. It just looks like a bunch of people piling on the dude. So wait, so they're trying to beat his wife.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know the context of what happened. His wife could be a raging bitch and deserved it. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing my wife, who would never do anything like that because she's too fucking nice, I'd be popping, especially chicks like that, dude. One hit and they're all down. Like, and I'm sorry, I'm like, well, you know, don't hit a woman. Fuck you. If they're trying to beat the shit out of your wife, I'm not saying I'm gonna like full force, like fucking try and crack their jaw, but like I'll pop a couple of them in the head and fucking knock them back and be like, sorry, maybe you shouldn't be a fucking violent bitch and you wouldn't get smacked upside the head. I'm sorry. I'll protect my wife.
See, I was saying the same thing, except nothing about the full force, because I'd be hitting them as pretty much as hard as I can.
I would hit someone hard enough to get them to back the fuck off in that situation. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I know for a fact if I hit just your average woman full force in the fucking head as hard as I can punch, I mean, I might end up in jail.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry.
I'm saying with the way
I
things
scared
are,
the shit out of myself one time just hitting a dude. And I thought, oh, fuck, I'm going to jail because I thought I fucking killed him. He fucking woke up after like 3 hours. I scared the shit out of myself, man. I was fucking terrified.
3 hours?
Fucking terrified. Yes.
It
wasn't until he started, like, he didn't look like he was breathing for like 5 minutes. And I'm freaking out. But then he starts like fucking doing this weird ass fucking. like weird fucking ass snoring shit. And so we knew he was alive. So they took him and they put him on a couch, and he woke up like 3 hours later.
See, I knocked a guy out for 5 minutes with one punch. Like he was out for 5.
Well, I think he was drunk too, so like that probably contributed to him sleeping that long.
Right.
So, but I seriously, I was in that moment, I was terrified. I thought, I'm going to jail. I hit this dude one fucking time, and he just fucking collapsed. We were at a party at somebody's house, and we were all in the living room, and shit went down, and actually not too dissimilar from this, but it was a dude messing with a girl. And I mean, I didn't even, now in fairness, I did just cold cock the motherfucker. Like, I didn't say anything to him. I didn't do anything. I saw what he was doing. I said, I'm going to stop this. And I just walked up and I popped him right in the side of the head. Like, I got him like right here, like in the temple. And he just fucking collapsed.
Well, if you punch him in the temple, that's a way to kill somebody.
Yeah, well, I might have been drinking too, so I wasn't really paying attention to where I hit him. You know what I mean? But I was, for 5 minutes, I was terrified. Because even like some of the people at the party was like, you fucking killed him. You fucking killed him. And I'm like, oh, God. That type of shit. So, but then he was fine after 3 hours. He didn't even fucking remember it. He thought he got drunk and passed out.
I thought I knocked a guy's jaw off one time, like off its hinges. Because when I punched him, like I just got him like right there,
Yeah.
And like in slow motion, I saw his jaw go. And I was like, oh no, I think I just broke that dude's jaw. But then, I don't know. That's a good way to knock someone out. I'll say that. Hit him in the jaw, a little bit cross. Your body doesn't know what to do. Like, honestly, like lights out, baby. That's it. Daniel says, I think they made a vid about black roots, if you're into that. Black Roots.
I mean, I've seen that movie. Kunta Kinte. So, if that's what you're talking about. It was a good movie, man. We all watched that when I was a kid in the 80s. That was a good movie.
I never watched it.
You've never seen it? It's like a good movie, man. You're like almost my age, right?
Oh, look, now that
39.
I looked through Twitter 5 times.
You're still old enough to have seen Roots back in the day.
Never really watched it.
You know your fucking nose. Don't get the fucking you touch your own time. Get the fuck off, lad. I'm not giving the next week, you cunt. Well, with you different, then I'll fuck off. And you feel here for a fucking back life. I'm gonna get the fuck out of my ass. Oh, God.
It's always the guy talking a bunch of shit and doing stuff that gets knocked out, isn't it?
But they always have their hands down and that ready.
What was that?
Are you ready? Is you ready? Ready? You say you ready?
Fucking music. Look at this beautiful Carolina home. Say hi to the neighbors. Whole fucking country's turning into this shit, dude. Like, here's a question. How many illegals are coming over the border every day? Like 4,000, something like that on average per day?
Give or take, yeah.
Where are they ending up? Is there housing for these people? And if there is that housing displacing other people who need housing by like pricing them out because of the availability?
I know Texas has been shipping them elsewhere, to Chicago, to DC.
I just saw somebody that was, who was it? It was one of the sanctuary cities that was throwing a bitch fit.
Us? God damn it.
Was it y'all?
Yes.
No, there was like a public, it was some sort of fucking thing. I can't remember what it was.
Washington.
Maybe it was you guys. Where they, and it was this lady with glasses. I can't remember. And she was giving this whole speech and like, well, the governor of Texas has essentially turned us into a border town. And she was all pissed off about it. It's like,
that might be another
fuck you. I don't think so.
But I know
think
we've
that
been
was
bitching.
Washington D.C.
Good.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah, I don't remember who the
Matt
fuck it
and
was.
Corey.
I just saw it yesterday.
Fuck both Matt and Corey for it. I'm just blaming y'all.
Yeah.
Well, Denver's already overrun, man. Like we've got, I don't know what percentage of Hispanic population in Colorado, but it's got to be one of the majorities at this point. I think it's got to be close to 30 or 40%, you know?
Yeah.
Which if you add everybody else in, that's the biggest population group.
A lot have been dropped off where I'm at. A bunch of Venezuelans.
They're smoking weed out of a gun.
The only good way to do it.
Dude, if I was in goddamn Vietnam, hell yeah, I'd be getting high off of some jungle weed. I've smoked weed out of a gun. It doesn't taste very good. Maybe if you like clean it really, really, really good before you do it. But I tasted a bit of gun oil when I did it.
Ew.
Yeah, it's not good. The people who shut down your businesses and killed your careers are now asking you to re-elect them so that they can keep their jobs. Never forget what they've done to you.
Oh, it's already forgotten. At least where I live.
Well, it's always blamed on Trump too, right? Because after all, the lockdowns were under Trump. It's not like Trump fought against them and tried to get everything open and did a whole bunch of stuff so that people could be open and be okay with it and stuff. And, you know, where did all the fear come from? That's another question. Did you see the CDC's fucking guidelines for unvaccinated people?
Mm-mm.
Well, it turns out at this point, the CDC recommends the exact same measures for vaccinated and unvaccinated people when it comes to the spread of COVID-19. As in, before, if you were unvaccinated and you were on a train, you were required to wear a mask. Now they say there's no difference between vaccinated and unvaccinated people, and that you don't have to wear a mask, or everyone is required to wear a mask.
That, and then they also say that if you had it but you're asymptomatic, you could still go to school.
Yes, and that if you are asymptomatic, you no longer require testing. And there was something else too.
There was no quarantine limit or time limit anymore.
Oh, did you see the health minister for Australia was talking about how there are cases of myocarditis caused by the vaccine, and they're finally admitting that now?
That's not true.
Well, and did you also see that YouTube's been laxing their algorithms when it comes to talking about COVID-19? Because it turns out that limiting people's speech and making arbitrary rules based upon the current thing that you've just got notifications from isn't the way to have an open and, you know, an open debate about something as important as how to deal with a pandemic.
Who knew?
Maybe they should allow free speech and all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Just a thought. It's kind of like a tenet of our civilization. Homeless black man builds a bedroom apartment under a bridge.
It holds 10 gallons of water. All it is a refrigerator on his bottom. Being innovative.
He's definitely living his best life.
And people say, do it work? Yes, it works because we are up under the sewer. And we do number one and number two in the bag and throw the bag in the sewer. Moving right along. We have a lot of women, as you guys stop. They like shoes, like we have ties on our car. I have a nice collection of shoes for men and women. Gotta have that. And this is my brother Dave. All right, Dave, you come on, kick it with me. You just see me drinking out the beer. This is where you gotta have somewhere to drink.
Fucking window to the road right there.
Come on, Captain. You have now entered the man cave. This is where my quarters are.
Damn, it's better than mine. Shit.
Damn.
Dude, the road's right there. Okay, so he's like just under the bridge. I thought he had like closed it off somehow or something.
He's even got a guest bed.
He's got a booth.
And I rent it out for $25 a week. $10 a night. So they can come out to bed, go out to bed, sit down and smoke a cigarette, chill, and just about the snacks day and just starving. They like to eat, snack something off the stand. My smokehouse, I call it my smokehouse. You gotta have somewhere to smoke for the smokehouse. This program as well, $2 a night.
Damn.
And that ends my tour. However, I'm still building. As you can see, I'm going all the way to the light there.
God damn, dude. All right.
Man, and his robe is super white and clean. Ooh, he's doing it.
I mean, he doesn't look like he's unhappy.
Yep.
Dano says, how are you not talking about 50 of Trump's inner circle raided by the FBI in the last 72 hours? Hashtag nights to the long snaps 2.0. Long naps. Night of the long naps. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Are you surprised that the government, the FBI, that raided Mar-a-Lago for innocuous reasons that they still really haven't spelled out, even though they redacted a fucking whole bunch of stuff and whatever and released it to the public, no one really knows why they did it. After 3 years of investigating Trump for Russia connections that didn't exist, after impeaching him for things that he didn't do, right? Like, after all of this stuff, we're supposed to just believe that, oh yeah, the FBI has the information this time, and that they're actually like legit and on the level, and that them going after 50 of his people who are close to him is normal and should happen. Like, no one believes that shit.
I mean, this is great, if you ask me. This is all leaning towards his re-election.
Well, what they're doing with it, I think ultimately, is they're trying to pin some sort of insurrection charge on Trump directly so that he can't run. Because if they can do that, and he's not allowed to run because he's got an insurrection charge, then they still have a chance of winning in 2024. But if Trump is allowed to run, and he does, they are going to lose in 2024, and they fucking know it.
Yeah,
that's why they throw in everything just to see what sticks.
I don't know. When I think about it, I'm thinking about the January 6th insurrection people who got arrested, right? And at the time, when they first got arrested or when they first started getting arrested, I'm like, dude, this is such bullshit. None of this stuff is going to stick. But guess what? A bunch of it stuck on a bunch of people. Not everybody, but a bunch of it stuck on a bunch of people. And a bunch of the stuff that stuck on people was pure fucking bullshit. Right? Do I think that they're beyond their abilities to get that done when it comes to Trump's inner circle? Hell no. Like, that's absolutely possible, feasible, probably going to happen. Especially when you consider, like, major firms, like for lawyers, like lawyer firms, won't take cases when it comes to Trump. Won't take cases for people who are connected to Trump because there's pressure within the legal community for these big corporations that have a bunch of high-end lawyers and shit to not have any kind of connection because they don't want that on their record or whatever. So now, if you're one of these people, okay, let me get a good lawyer. oh, the good lawyers won't fucking take your case. So now you got to get roll of the dice, like mid-grade lawyer from smaller thing that is going to be either good or not, you know. And if he's not good, it's your fucking life on the line. This isn't good, guys. It honestly isn't. I haven't looked into it too much to see what all of these seizures are about. What are these arrest warrants about? What is this all about? Does anyone know?
Nope.
Well, let's look it up. Oops. 11 associates have now been charged with 11 crimes. Okay, here's CNN. Isn't CNN supposed to be going right-wing now? Isn't that a thing? Steve Bannon, Trump's political blah, 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 was charged with fraud in August of 2020 for a fundraising scam that raised dollars to build Trump's much badly whatever. Okay, Tom Barrack was charged 7 counts on Tuesday. The allegations, according to the indictment, center on the idea that Barrack used his closeness to Trump to advance the interests of and provide intelligence to the UAE while simultaneously failing to notify the Attorney General that the actions were taken at the direction of the senior UAE officials. So they think that he's feeding information to the United Arab Emirates, I guess. Elliot Brody, top fundraiser for Trump's 2016 presidential campaign, pled guilty in October 2020 to conduct secret lobbying campaign in exchange for millions of dollars, blah, blah, blah. So, again, money-raising, funding stuff. Michael Cohen, one-time fixer for Trump. Cohen was sentenced to 3 years in prison for a series of crimes, was notably... How old is this? Really old. Never mind. Real Tim Pool did a video on it. All right, let's go to Tim Pool. Tim Pool. Is it really long then? Okay, women beheaded. Did you guys see that? The women beheaded in fucking California?
No.
So I guess it was a domestic thing, and I don't know the identity of the man who did it. If he was like black, white, Hispanic, whatever, it doesn't matter. But they were having a domestic dispute that ended up on the street, and he took a samurai sword and chopped her at the neck, beheading her in front of her kids.
Jesus.
Not his kids.
Okay.
Mind you. Her kids. Someone else's kids, not his. Because that's just how things be.
Well then, that's wow. I'm in California and that's shocking right now.
Democrats panicking, GOP prepares, Trump slams DOJ and FBI for intelligence, calling for 2020 election redo. Yeah, that's bullshit.
So, Honda, I have a question for you because I listened to Tim Pool a bit and was wondering. Tim Pool talks a lot about a civil war. Why does it? Well, I've only seen like maybe 2-3 videos that he talks about civil war. Is that a reoccurring thing that he talks about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that he's been talking about for a while because there's all kinds of markers and things that have happened in countries that have gone into civil war, and he's been looking at what's been going on in America, saying like, well, hey, like political and civil unrest and all of these things that we've been dealing with are signs of civil war. And then at some point he went from, hey, this looks like civil war, to like, I think we're in it. So
okay.
I was in the San Carlos area. Pretty surprising for that area. It says 65. Yeah, I'm not finding the particular video. How many channels does Tim Pool have?
I think 3. Was it 4?
It might be 4 now. I know it's at least 3.
I've got 3. I mean, this all would have been in the last couple of days, right? Like stories about this shit.
You would think so.
Oh, there's new Project Veritas shit.
Oh, there is? I didn't know that.
Project
Daniel
Veritas
dropped in a link.
Exposes schools illegally banning conservatives to indoctrinate kids. Yeah, drop in a link for the video. And I'll click on it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Daniel did.
In the latest
Where? Oh, yeah, right there. Okay. Which means I gotta go to YouTube again. Over here. Gotta go to you. And a link. Steve Bannon tells Charlie Kirk 35 MAGA allies got raided day of indictment. Steve Bannon, former advisor to ex-President Donald Trump, says the same day he was arraigned on criminal fraud charges, the FBI carried out raids on the homes of nearly 36 allies of former president. Speaking to conservative talk show host Charlie Kirk Friday, Bannon made the explosive allegation saying law enforcement is part of a border conspiracy to hobble opponents of Joe Biden. Bannon's remarks come on the day after he pled not guilty in New York federal court to fraud charges amid efforts by conservative figures to cast the FBI as being politically weaponized, which they absolutely fucking are. Bannon told Kirk that the FBI rolled on 35 senior members of MAGA Republican supporters of Donald Trump, saying he allegedly searches were unnecessary because their targets have lawyers. He called the FBI the jackboot Gestapo and referenced the secret police of Nazi Germany. Again, very apt. This is a globalist apparatus, Bannon said. This is the American arm of that, the Biden regime. Bannon added, they're trying to use lawfare, financial terrorism law, everything legally, but quite frankly, up to assassinations. And quite frankly, up to assassinations. The prominent figure in conservative politics, Bannon blasted Biden's speech in Philadelphia last week denouncing Trump and his allies as a threat to democracy, which, dude, we're seeing the results of that right now. Bannon called the speech demonic and a primal scream from a dying regime. An FBI spokesman declined to comment on Newsweek, blah, blah, blah. Bannon linked the alleged FBI searches to political and legal pressure facing right-wing figures, including Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Trump, and himself. What's Tucker Carlson going through right now?
I don't know. All I know is Jennifer Lawrence said she had a bad dream about him.
Yeah, that's the only thing I heard.
Something like that. I don't know.
Daniel says, I was wrong. It was in his nightly show, not a video. But the story he was using was a source material. This is the story he was using as a source material. The FBI is Biden's Gestapo. Far-right-wing Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia said in a tweet reacting to Bannon's comments, federal law enforcement agencies that are used as political weapons should be dissected, and the bad must be removed. Tyrants are the cancer that America should never allow to fester and grow. Dude, we're totally in a tyrannical state right now. And if you guys don't see it, which I don't think anybody out there watching right now doesn't see it. Like, everybody watching right now fucking sees exactly what we're talking about, is 100% on board with, the idea that we have a tyrannical government who's trying to implement control over our lives and get rid of freedoms that we have so that they can take over more of our lives, basically, right? I mean, if the only people who have guns are police, like, they got a lot of control. That's ultimately one of the goals that they're trying. I mean, fucking Biden's been spelling that shit out left and right for years now. And he said directly that if in this midterm election they retain control of the House and get control of the Senate, that they will pass gun control, period. And then I forget the name of the lady. She's like, I don't even remember what state it was, senator or something, who was talking about the Republican moles that they have and how you got to keep white people under your thumb and treat them like shit.
Crystal Matthews, it was South Carolina.
I'm glad you're here. You know this shit. That's awesome. Yes. And I forget the reporter was going after her. She was not having it, dude. She was running away like a little bitch. It was hilarious. Wow. Tucker also reported 50 rated Friday. Oh, I thought you were saying Tucker also got rated. So Tucker was reporting on it. Okay.
That Matthews woman is a state rep in South Carolina. She was also the same one that was talking about dope money with that dude in prison.
Oh, is she the one saying like we need your financing, send me your dope
she's
money?
like, we got to get that dope money to go run for office and stuff like
This
that.
one, like, what did she say? Where's my real blacks at? Or something like that.
Yeah.
The
And
ones
then
who
this
give me the
second
dope
video
money
that,
for my
that Project
campaign.
Veritas put out this week was her basically
the fuck
talking
outta
shit
here.
about how anti-white racist she is. So
Yeah, where you at, Leo?
Leo doesn't have dope money. Don't be racist.
I bet Leo could get some dope money.
No comment.
Okay. Where were we? Biden, who served, okay, we already read that. Speaking of Kirk Friday, maintained his defiant posture, calling his arraignment in New York on the charges, quote, one of the best days of my life. Quote, it was a very powerful spiritual day for me, said Bannon, likening the experience to being, quote, in the zone during a sports game. He added, they're not going to shut me up. That's it. Well, I mean, I guess what we have to do is look at the charges that are filed against. I guess, really, we don't even have to do that, do we? Because ultimately, you know, whatever charges that they're going to say are just bullshit, fucking spun up stuff about whatever it is that they're trying to get through right now. And that us looking at it or not looking at it isn't going to make a fucking difference, is it? But, I mean, I guess if you want to refute these things to the average person on the street who seems to know what's going on and happens to be on the other side of the argument, you should at least know what the charges are. And I don't see what the charges are. I mean, what did Bannon get charged with? Like conspiracy to get money or something? Pled not guilty in New York charges to fraud charges amid efforts. Okay, so it was fraud. Fraud and fundraising. Big fucking deal. What about Hunter Biden? 10% for the big guy. Oh, can't see this. Oh, can't say that. I didn't say it. You can say that on YouTube, you know.
Yeah, you can.
You can say the N-word all you want on YouTube. I'm not going to do it, but, you know. Oh, Super Chats. HBO Matt dropped in $5. The main 1A, 2A guy in San Antonio got picked up on a falsified pocket warrant and then tortured in jail all last weekend. Alamos Park chief ordered it. Fucking, what's up with Texas being all fucking crazy sometimes?
It's Texas.
Like with law enforcement, I'm saying.
They're cops. The fuck? Cops are assholes.
Just everything's bigger in Texas, including
the assholes. Yeah. I mean, it's true.
Usually, when you hear shit like that in Texas, is San Antonio, Dallas, Houston. You know, the liberal shitholes.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know who Tom McDonald is?
You need a rapper.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a white Canadian rapper who talks about politics and rap. He's actually pretty fucking good. Tom F dropped in $10 and didn't say anything, but thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. Why do you always do that, Tom? You should say something. You paid the $10. You should have your voice. Speak your piece. Vandal says, go ahead and add some Handler art to the Pixel Planet. I mean, we'd have to go to Colorado and avoid all the Nazis. All right. We're about right here.
If you say so.
Okay, how do you do this? We need to... just draw. I don't want to go through all this right now. GXAX.
Daniel says, zoom, dumb motherfucker.
I zoomed. VOOG. WOOG.
Fuck are you doing?
Drawing a penis.
Okay.
Why won't
If
it
that's
let me?
what your penis looks like, then
Well-
a lot of things have been explained to me.
It's a hammerhead penis.
Can't draw too fast, apparently. There you go. Looks like a
This is
T.
giant T. All you need to do is put a picture of a bag next to it.
All right, I'm done with that. Look at the area between Texas and Mexico. Let's look down where Matt's at. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at.
Oh, is that a map? Is that what that's supposed to be?
Well, yeah, it's a map. Look,
Of what?
the world.
There's
Except
a
for
frog down
us?
there.
Why are we whited out on that map?
Because no one's drawn anything yet.
Okay.
He was talking about the wall. I'm assuming
thing?
that.
Someone fucking spent a lot of time building that wall.
No
if you
shit.
can only do 1 pixel every 4 seconds, like a brick's gonna take you 5 minutes, you know?
And with shading on the brick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And did someone like take the time to draw this, or is it like a copy paste? Because if you can copy paste, it would make it easier. But if you can only draw one pixel at a time, can you mess up someone else's shit? Guess not. Again, Daniel, thank you for the suggestion. I'm fucking done with that shit. I don't want to do it right now.
Maybe when he's high and tired.
No, probably never.
Never enough pixels.
What the fuck?
This is how they fucking take the delicious looking pictures. See?
Oh. They made oobleck. I don't know. Have you ever been to a restaurant that like the pictures all look like shit of the food? That's because the food's real in the pictures.
Of course, you got to get it wet.
Yeah,
Hairspray.
with hairspray.
Ugh.
Now I want some chicken.
Shoe polish. Huh?
Shoe polish?
Yeah, shoe polish chicken.
Huh. Mashed potato type cream. With chocolate syrup on top.
That's nothing but glue with food coloring. That's some cheating ass bullshit right there.
Like, it didn't even have chocolate in it. It was just like black shit.
So you're telling me everything that I want to eat on TV is a lie?
Pretty much.
No, it's real, but I don't think you want to eat what's displayed.
Yeah,
Unless you
probably
like-
don't.
Did they just put like spray on weather protector on pancakes?
Yes.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
To keep it from getting soggy.
Scotch Guard or whatever that shit's called.
If you're a Marine, that's edible.
I thought people were dumb like 10 years ago. Things have gotten to a whole new level.
Originally.
Let me start it over.
From originally.
Where's the Queen of England from?
I definitely don't know.
Give me your best guess. Guess a country.
What is a country again?
Do you know what country the Panama Canal is in?
No.
If you had to guess, like what do you think it sounds like it's in? Guess a country.
Yep.
Yes. Do you know how many moons the Earth has? Around how many, if you had to guess?
2.
Yes. Do you know what time this is?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. 245.
Yes. Do you know what country the Great Wall of China is in?
Country?
Yeah. If you had to guess.
Japanese?
Yes. Do you know what the third month of each year is?
Japanese is a
It's
country.
a leap year or some shit?
Yeah. Do you know what 15% of 100 is?
Sort of.
Fuck.
Around what it is, if you had to guess.
Probably like 75. I don't know.
Yes. Can you name all the months?
September, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August.
Yes. Do you know what 7 plus 7?
At least you got October.
In November, December.
Yeah, that one's
28. No, I'm bugging. 14. That's 7. I don't know.
What do we call a shape with 5 sides?
Is it an octagon? Wait, that's 6. That's 8. Octagon
8.
Is it a stop sign?
I knew
What
she was
the
going to say that.
fuck?
Jesus Christ.
Fuck me.
And the thing is, like, I saw this guy's like shit not too long ago. You don't have to try very hard to find these people. It's like 1 out of 10 people is like normal amount of knowledge about things. 9 out of 10 people on the street are like, wait, what's a country? I forget what a country is. I think we've got 2 moons, right? Like, who the fuck doesn't know this stuff, dude? I don't understand. I don't understand how you can live on the planet Earth and not know that there's only 1 moon.
Why would he just say yes like he's validating their stupid ass responses?
Why not? At this point,
it's funny. That's why. Like, you're not going to improve the world by correcting that dumb bitch, you know?
Right.
We're like, hey, where is the Great Wall of China from? Like, what country? Japanese? That's not even a... Oh, my God.
People like that, you just want to slap them in the face.
Oh, Nilly.
That's a write-up.
Yep.
They're trying to open the car to get out.
You just stay in at that point. Like, you're going with them.
Oh, they got out.
Well, now your car's gone. Oh, okay, there you go. That's
you stay in the car, follow him to Texas. We're in Texas, guys.
It's fine until they hit highway speeds.
Oh no, you have no tires.
Want to crap? We don't know. You can't politics. You think you understand political party. You're all want to crap. You don't know what the Illuminati is. If you're Republican or you're Democrat, you're wrong. Why? It's this easy. It's called divide and conquer. That's why there's 2 parties and only 2. And they're controlled by the same people at the very top who belong to the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberger Group, they also belong to the Trilateral Commission, and you people don't even know what the hell that is. But if you did know, you would know that these are the people that control your world by making global policies that you never vote on, and by which parties both serve and belong to these organizations and control your world. Now, here's how.
Why does that guy look like he's got like blackface going on or something?
It works. Really easy. Divide and conquer can only work if the people that are divided are not aware of the falsely created division. If you're not aware of it, then it works. If you know about it, then it don't work no more. If you have socialism without capitalism, it becomes communism. If you have capitalism without socialism, it becomes fascism. And it's just that easy. I love you. That's all you need to know. That's why Masonic symbols are all over your freaking money. But you don't pay attention. Ridiculous.
You like that guy got Hillary Clinton a couple of years back.
All he needed was wings, and he looked like he belonged in Wizard of Oz.
Oh, that's pretty cool. He's creating an upward airflow with a piece of paper underneath the airplane. It's light enough, yeah. Penis enlarger. Oh, that's good. Oh, more Nazi symbols. Hey, there she is again. We're back here. We made it home. Babe comes out blasting with rock music. God damn.
She didn't pay attention to the guy that ran right in front of her.
I think he fell down. Yeah, look, he fell down. It's like he was already got, is my guess. Wahlberg. If you don't like the USA, please leave it and take your comrade Alec Baldwin, Cher, Madonna, Rosie, Jennifer Lawrence, Miley Cyrus, Mark Ruffalo, Sean Penn, Robert De Niro, Barbara Streisand, Matt Damon, Oprah, Colin Kaepernick, and the whole rest of the rich losers with you. The U.S. has an open door policy that swings both ways. Leave the rest of us alone to rebuild our nation as it was intended by our forefathers. Amen.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Mark Wahlberg. I'm going to go watch a Mark Wahlberg movie after this.
Why don't I believe that? Can you verify he actually said that?
Right.
I don't believe that anybody in Hollywood would say that shit unless they're
AmericasFreedomFighters.com. Here, it's got the link at the bottom.
Now, that'd be something that Rob Schneider would say.
Yeah, Rob Schneider's like, fuck it, I don't care. I made all my money, and nobody will hire me to do shit anyway other than Adam Sandler. So I might as well just say whatever the fuck I want.
I don't think I want to do the rest of that. We're good. I can't verify. Cannot verify. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene thing. All right, what the fuck is this about?
Brian Kemp sits on a throne of lies.
Who's Brian Kemp?
The current governor of Georgia. Stacey Abrams is the dumb bitch trying to run against him. Who should be in prison since 2018 for voter fraud.
All right. And she was what? Plus, she played the president on the STD.
Yeah.
That shit ain't real. Yeah,
that's not real at all.
That'd be strong ass shit, man.
That's when I stopped watching. When they put her on it, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm done."
Wanted assault on 9/7, 12:50 a.m. in front of 135 West 36th Street. New York Police Department is known for an individual approaching the victim displaying a knife, stabbing the victim. Any information, call blah, 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 blah. $3,500 reward. It's like 1 month's rent in New York. Damn, he stabbed that guy. Okay, here's a tip for everybody. If it's a gun and you don't have a weapon, charge. If it's a knife and you don't have a weapon, run. That is all. In general, I mean, there's exceptions to everything, but generally, it's better to charge the guy because he can shoot you with a gun from far away, and it's better to run away from the guy with a knife because he's got to get close to you to stab you. Flashback, May 2020, far-left rioters tried to storm the White House. They were repelled by the police, who were assaulted and hit with projectiles. Democrats and leftists condemned law enforcement at the time for stopping the rioters. Insurrection for me, but not for thee. Like, this is the definition of injustice in a legal system, wherein you have basically the exact same situation on both sides, right? You've got the left being mad at the government. You've got the right being mad at the government. You've got the left being riotous and doing a bunch of shit. You've got the right being riotous and doing a bunch of shit. Okay, let's look at the reaction from the federal government. When it's the left, what happens?
Nothing. Silence.
If they get arrested and you're on the left and the DA finds out, they let you go. They don't really charge, unless there's like a murder or something, and they kind of have to fucking charge you with that. Other than that, they don't fucking care. If you're on the right and you didn't do anything and you were standing not even where you're not supposed to, recording, and people around you said something, and the FBI gets a hold of your video, you might be charged with something. And if you're charged with something, they're going to put you through the fucking ringer. They're going to put you in prison. They're going to fucking come after you financially. They're going to seize your fucking shit. And you're going to be dealing with it for years. Where does that lead? Anybody? Where does it lead?
Booty goons, prison glocks, and ass spitting.
I mean, for some people, yeah, but where does it lead for the country?
Oh.
It's the downfall of society. It's as if they're directly, intentionally doing it. They're doing it on purpose because they know. I mean, it's George Soros is behind a bunch of this shit, right? Like, who funded a whole bunch of these people who are the DAs who are letting leftists go and charging people on the right as much as they possibly can? It's the DA who gets to make that decision, right? Ultimately, in a lot of these leftist cities, especially, it's George Soros funded DAs. George Soros is known for going into countries, destabilizing them, and then buying up their infrastructure and their resources for pennies on the dollar. That's what he fucking does. And he's doing it to us now. And people are like, oh, it's not happening. George Soros doesn't... You're a conspiracy theorist. Okay, fine. I don't believe you, and I think you're just gaslighting me by saying that shit because it's not a conspiracy theory. And just saying the word conspiracy doesn't mean shit. Fuck you. The word conspiracy means that two or more people got together and decided to commit a crime. That happens every fucking day. All the time. Especially when it comes to fucking governmental organizations, FBI, CIA, like other countries, Mossad, fucking MI6, all of these countries do it to their fucking people all the time because they want to have extra power and do things that they shouldn't and have insider trading and get away with shit that they shouldn't get away with and fucking cheat on stuff and do all this stuff. And guess what? There ain't shit that you're doing about it when you're like, oh, well, George Soros, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're just adding to the problem. You're putting more roadblocks in the way of solving the problem by being a fucking piece of shit and by buying into the fucking propaganda and being a little fucking willing sheep. Cool. All right. Well, since everyone's so talkative tonight.
Well, we don't disagree.
I don't know, maybe add something to it? Yeah. Yeah, 9/11. There you go. A lot of it goes back to that shit, dude. I mean, go back to 9/11. There was a lot of fucking freedoms that we had that were taken away from us willingly because people were willing to sacrifice their freedoms in exchange for fucking safety. It's where you get the TSA, the Department of Homeland Security, the endless wars and... Well, I guess not endless.
Was that the Patriot Act?
Patriot Act 1 and 2. Oh, don't forget about that $2.3 trillion that Rumsfeld went on TV the day before 9/11 and announced that, hey, by the way, we've got this money that we can't track. $2.3 trillion is out the window. We don't know what happened, but don't worry. We're doing an investigation. Very next day, airplanes hit the 2 places where the papers are being held for the investigations. Coincidence? No, man. You're just a conspiracy theorist, Honda. That shit can't happen. No way. No. Yeah, we never saw a plane hit the Pentagon, but I totally believe it happened. Why? Because the lying, cheating, stealing federal government told me so. Right?
It's true.
Yep.
I'm annoyed with all this shit, dude. I don't know what to do about it anymore. I'm kind of disheartened when it comes to fighting against the New World Order, preserving our freedoms, defending America, upholding our way of life, preserving our country for our progeny so that they can have a place of freedom. The one last bastion of freedom in the fucking world. But guess what? We don't have freedom here anymore. We don't. Can you get on Twitter and say what you want to say? No, you can't. Can you get on YouTube and say what you want to say? No, you can't. You can sit in your living room and say whatever you want to say to nobody, and no one's going to stop you from doing that. Or you can say it to your wife or whatever who already agrees with you. No one's going to stop you from doing that. But the second you want to get out and say something publicly to make a change, to make a difference, they silence you. They shadow ban you. They give you channel strikes. They get rid of you off of the platform completely. You're not allowed to fucking have an opinion. You're allowed to have an opinion as long as you agree, right? But the second you have an opinion that doesn't go in line with what they want you to fucking be saying, you're a right-wing MAGA tyrant who wants to overthrow the government, right? And we need to use the power of the state to go against you next. That's what's coming next, boys. It's not going to be a YouTube strike. It's going to be an FBI raid. It's not going to be a ban on Twitter. It's going to be a ban on your freedom because you're going to be put in jail. That's what's coming next.
I mean, Biden already said it in his imperial speech.
It's only happened every single time things have started to turn the way they're turning in this country.
And people with money are getting out of this country. Like, there's several stories that I read recently about, rich people are fleeing America, and here's where they're going. Oh, they're landing in Spain because Spain's really nice. They're here, they're there, they're wherever. They're leaving this country. Same shit that happened during World War I and the Austro-Hungarian Empire. That's why I'm here. My family was like, they saw the fucking shit happening. They saw the tea leaves, and they got the fuck out because they were able to, and because America was still a bastion of freedom that they could go to, that they could escape to. Where do you go now? Especially if you're not well-to-do. If you're well-to-do, it doesn't matter. You can go anywhere you want. But back then, it was poor people selling everything that they had to get a ticket to America and showing up here with nothing, right? Name a country you can go to where you can sell your shit to buy a ticket to get there and show up with basically nothing and be okay. There's not one. There's not one place in the world. We were it. We are no longer it. It is no longer this country. We no longer have that. We can't say that anymore. And it's sad. It's sad because I have kids. Because there's a country that I grew up in that doesn't exist anymore. There's freedoms that we had that aren't free anymore. And it was taken from us one piece at a time under our nose. And for the most part, we were happy to make the trade. Yep, pretty upset. Pretty disheartened.
I mean, my dad came here at age 13 by himself to find a better life. So, I mean, he shares the same opinion that I have, that everything was where you just such Honda, that everything has changed and we're not the America that we used to be. So, I mean, I asked him, would you come back? If you were back in Mexico, would you come here? He's like, no. Not the way it is.
Maybe you should look into the people that took it. Okay, like, what am I going to do about that? What can I possibly do? Me, E Honda 420, sitting here in my apartment. Even if I had 100 times as many people watching as I do right now, you know, like there was 100 times as many people who cared about what I had to say. I have 1,000 live viewers. Woohoo! 1,000 people saying something in a country of 350 million people going on, something like that. No one's going to give a fuck. No one's going to listen. No change is going to be made. What can you do? I'm disheartened. 10,000, sorry. Still, 10,000 even. Yep, I mean, he's just trying to blame it all on the Jews again. But okay, let's buy into that for a second, right? Okay, Mark Malone, you're 100% correct. The people you've identified the people that we have to go after, right? What's next? Waiting, because there's not a fucking answer, dude. You're not going to be able to answer that shit because there's no answer to it. You can say you call for something, even hint at calling for something. Guess what? Now you've committed a crime. Now you're in jail. Now anyone who listened to you is being looked at, and if they try to do anything, they're going to jail too. It's like, that doesn't help. Okay, let's try the freedom of speech method. Oh, wait, don't have that anymore. Okay, let's try the government change things through regulations and policies and making new laws method. Oh, wait, they're all on your side, not ours. Okay, let's go to the courts. Let's try to get the courts to fucking make a judgment on this shit and try to reverse some of this crazy stuff that's been going on, and maybe we can get some foothold there. Well, I mean, okay, there's that, and there's the Supreme Court right now. But how long do we have that as a solution, A? And B, is it even a solution? When it comes down to it, is the Supreme Court really on our side? Was the whole overturning of Roe versus Wade and kicking it back to the states a decision that they made because they were on the side of human life and liberty, and that they wanted to have our progeny preserved for the future generations to have a good population of people and stuff like that? No, I don't think so. I think it was because they saw, hey, there's a 2024 and 2022 midterm and presidential elections coming up, and it's not looking too good for the Democrats. I know. How are we going to get people riled up and on our side to vote? Let's do some shit that they don't like. Let's get rid of Roe versus Wade. I don't know. Let's see what that does. And if you look at the polls, what happened when they got rid of Roe versus Wade was, number one, Biden's approval numbers went up. Number two, the prospective people who were running for office, all of their numbers looked better by a couple of points, 3-4 points, but that's a pretty big difference, especially in some of these races that are really close. 3 or 4 points difference means you're going to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do I think that they did it purely for egalitarian purposes? Absolutely not. I think that there was absolutely a political purpose behind what they did. It was to rally up their base, to rile up their base, to get people fucking pissed off so they're going to show up to vote in 2022 in the midterm election so that maybe they can retain some modicum of control.
Everything is a strategic, has a strategic purpose that they do.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Again, I'm very disheartened. I don't know what the word is.
I mean, just look at a lot of the Second Amendment stuff that could have been brought to the Supreme Court, but never did. That would end all this gun debate. Yeah.
Yeah, again, dude, if they were really on our side and they were really upholding the Constitution and believed in the tenets that created our country, the Supreme Court would be absolutely taking cases like that left and right and striking shit down left and right. Because our founding fathers were closer to libertarians than anything, right? Like, libertarian doesn't necessarily mean like anarcho-capitalist, which would be complete lack of government. I think libertarian kind of recognizes the need for minimal government, and that's what the Constitution spelled out, was here's minimal government to give you protection from other countries invading, to unite the country together under a currency or whatever, like get these certain things. That wasn't even in there. Never mind. But you get the point. Like, there's a certain minimal amount of government that you need to have in order to call yourself a country. Because otherwise, you're just an island. You're just a fucking dude with a house,
Yeah.
But the limits of that very, very small and limited government have gone out of control probably since before fucking the Civil War, to be honest. I mean, that was what the whole Civil War was all about, was federal power versus state power. Who has the right to make these decisions? Who is the bigger fucking dick in the room? And both dicks swung around, and guess what? The federal dick was bigger.
It's interesting you should bring that up. I actually had a conversation with my state rep for the first time this week, and we got into a conversation about Ohio becoming a Second Amendment sanctuary state, and how he was basically on the side that federal law trumps state law and stuff like that, and went on a whole thing about NRA fucking lobbyists telling him not to go through with it and everything else like that, and it's just a bunch of shit, honestly.
Well, federal law should trump state law when it comes to the limits of what government is able to do, right? So when the federal government says, okay, here's our First Amendment, you have the right of freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of redress grievances from the government, like protest, that kind of thing, petition, that kind of thing. Like, that's all covered under the First Amendment, right? And if Colorado was to say, okay, federal government, I know you got your freedom of speech thing over there, but we really don't like it here in Colorado, so we're going to use our state authority to override the First Amendment rights guaranteed by the federal government to all citizens of Colorado, especially when it comes to COVID or whatever, right? Well, they can't do that, can they? Because that supersedes federal law, a federal limitation on what the government is allowed to do. But they use it when it comes to, oh, well, the federal government passed a law when it comes to guns and this and that you're not allowed to have. So we, as the state of Colorado, are going to enforce that law for them. And that's not how that's supposed to work, I don't think, right? I don't know. Not a goddamn lawyer. Fucking filthy ass, slimy, sleazy lawyer.
You need to try to get Rakita on here one day.
To get who?
Rakita.
I've been trying to get on Rakita's show for a minute now. And it seems like it's probably not going to happen. And it's very disappointing. Although I was talking to, what's her name? There's a chick lawyer I was just talking to the other day about being on the show, and she seemed interested. It was, I'd have to look at my Twitter DMs. I can't remember.
I think it would be pretty cool to have a lawyer on the show. At least just once,
Well, certainly there'd be a lot of questions I think we'd have, for people who are concerned about the future of the Second Amendment and the current state of it and things like that. What this law and that law, and what are the limits of what the ATF can do with the decision, and what are the legal ramifications of like keeping a pistol brace when they tell you you can't, and that kind of like, what are the risks, what are the actual risks, what could you be charged with versus like theoretics or whatever. I don't know. Lots of questions. This is what happens with the Taliban is maintaining Black Hawk helicopters. Jesus Christ. Why are they not saying Allahu Akbar? Don't they usually say that when things blow up? I thought that's what it meant.
Howdy. How's everybody doing?
God is great. What up?
Hey. Yeah, just getting off work at my part-time job. I heard you guys talking about the states enforcing federal law, enforcing more stringent laws, and being undercut. States, if I may contribute something to the conversation here, states have been sued, and the defense that they used was that, well, the First Amendment says Congress shall pass no law, but that doesn't count for the school board. But then, like, there have been a couple of Supreme Court decisions that have said, no, when they say Congress, they mean the whole of government. That was the intention of the founders, and that's what the Supreme Court, a couple of decisions that their exact titles that escape me at the moment, but they've been like, no, government, any layer of government cannot infringe upon your, say, Second Amendment rights. But they do, they try to, and each time they do, it has to be challenged all the way up to the Supreme Court. Like, City of San Francisco says no semi-automatic firearms. Well, that one can make the argument that that's unconstitutional, so somebody has to challenge that city ordinance and then take it up the chain. You know what I mean?
Well, the problem is, though, and we were just talking about it, is, okay, you can take it up to the Supreme Court, but what if the Supreme Court doesn't take your case? Yeah. Obviously, the lower courts and the middle courts are all against you, and especially when it comes to, like, the Fifth Circuit or whatever it is, like the Fifth Circuit's going to always be like, oh, yeah, your rights don't exist. Sorry, that sucks.
Actually, I think you're talking about the Ninth Circuit is the California one, right? Yeah. No,
or New York.
Fifth Circuit is, the Fifth Circuit, I think, is Texas and Oklahoma. So you're probably you're going to get a fair shake there, I can say.
Well, whichever one it is, I might be wrong which circuit court it is. What I'm saying. And that is something that we've been dealing with in this country for my entire life. I mean, the government has been constantly and continually expanding their power. They've been constantly and continually limiting your freedom. And they've been doing it in multiple ways. And especially since you've got like this whole technological leap that we've gone through in the past 20 years, where most people didn't have a computer and now everyone's got a computer in their pocket everywhere they go.
Right.
And them using that, they're leveraging that technology to influencing people's thought, influencing people's speech, influencing people's spending habits, influencing people's travel habits, like all kinds of stuff that the government should have no right and no interest really in fucking doing, but yet they have the power to do it, so they're going to.
And then there's a lot of psychology that's going into the use of the internet. Like with these apps, they know exactly what to show you. They show you gold coins and flashing lights and all sorts of stuff to give you that, to pique your interest and give you that tiny little dopamine hit to attract your attention. And they're using all of that to, like you said, modify your thinking, and they're using all of that stimulus to kind of guide you or to corral. And it works on, say, half the population. The other half is knows when they're being bullshitted. Excuse my language.
Well, I mean, you say that, but even then, I think that there's times when they're able to rope you in when you're not expecting it, and they do that when they're telling you information that you already have the tendency to believe. I think, and so you hear the thing that you expect to hear when it comes to a certain subject, and you don't look into it any further because it's confirmation bias, right?
Right.
You're confirming the thing that you already believe, and so you're going further down the road with that thing. And I don't know, man. Like, there's ways that they still get to you, and once you see it everywhere, but that doesn't mean you see it like you see all of it, right?
Right.
I don't know, man. I'm very disheartened, though. I'm very, very disheartened when it comes to the whole future of this country. And I don't know how to unblackpill myself. I'm blackpilled right now.
Me personally, I never get blackpilled. I only get gray pilled. It's the gray pill is basically, okay, this particular situation sucks. Let's look for a way out. You know what I mean? So it's the acceptance of reality, but it's like, okay, let's try and work towards something better. I never get black pilled because, like, now when you say you're black pilled, you mean that like certain things are inevitable, like collapses and stuff like that?
When I say black pilled, I like look at it like this. Like, you have a lump on your chest and you go to the doctor and the doctor does a scan and tells you you have stage 4 terminal cancer, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, I'm going to die. Like, I see the future of this. It's going to happen. I've got this long left. But I'm going to pray for a miracle. I'm still going to show up to work. I'm still going to love my kids. I'm still going to get my oil changed on my car. Even though if I never do, I will die before that motor does. Right?
Right.
Because, like, there's just things that if you don't do, you will be fucked. Regardless of if, you know, like, let's say you magically got cured from your cancer, the doctor was wrong, whatever it is, right?
Right.
And you've been beating your kids, you've been not changing your oil, you've been doing all the things. Well, now your life's fucked, bro. Like, you got to continue to go through as if things are going to work out. You still got to do all of the things that you were going to do anyway.
Yeah.
But there's still that underlying knowledge that you've got fucking stage 4 lump cancer, you know?
Yeah. Well, the way I see it, if you look at the grand scheme of history from a non-religious perspective, I'm not a religious person myself. I used to be very religious, but I'm not anymore. But if you look at the grand scheme of history, this sort of thing has happened multiple times in the past. There's a little thing called cultural mitosis, and it happens whenever a population or a institution reaches a certain critical mass. It's like an amoeba. The immutable laws of nature, as I call it. It's like an amoeba. When an amoeba gets too big and fat and it can't move effectively, it has no choice but to split into two pieces. And you've seen this. If you want to take the Bible at its word and talk about the Tower of Babel, then you saw a split into several different pieces there. But be that as it may, you've seen the Catholic Church split into the Orthodox Church. You saw it split again into the Protestant Reformation. You saw the Roman Empire split into its various fragments. It reached a critical mass. It was too big to govern. You've seen, you saw the Soviet Union cease to exist and break up into its various little republics. We've seen what we're going through and what we're about to witness, I think, has happened before. So the good news is that the human species, this is the gray pill, like I was saying, it's going to suck in the meantime. But the good news is that it's not all bad news. Life will go on. You know what I mean? For America, for its various regions and stuff like that. America has gotten too big, too many people to function properly. And so it's time for that great mitosis it's time for that political cellular division. You know what I mean?
I agree with everything you just said with two caveats.
Sure.
First caveat is that, okay, like Roman Empire falls, people still lived in, humanity went on. There's Italy now, right? Like you've got all of these different countries now. Balkanization. All of these different countries came out of Russia that failed. It was a failed state. But what about the kids of those countries? What about the children growing up during those times of transition? That's my worry, mainly because I have kids, right? And I don't want to see them go through a time in our country that's worse than the Great Depression, which is basically what I think it's going to be. And then
the best case scenario we go through. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, good. No, you're good. You're good. I've got one
I
more.
was say best case scenario, we go through depression. Crime goes up, prices go up, but like the police still answer 911 when you call. That's best case, and the lights more or less still stay on. Worst case scenario, we have a complete like balkanization and things go Mad Max for a little while, and then society kind of rebuilds. That's the worst. That's the worst case scenario. I don't think the human species is not going to go extinct. America, as we know it, this landmass is still going to be here. There's still going to be people on it. You know what I mean? So even the worst case scenario, there's kind of a light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? We may not live to see it, but our kids will. I don't have any kids, but you said you do. Your kids will probably live to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean?
Okay, then my other point, though, and maybe you're right, but my other point is that while these things have happened before in the past, and while we've seen the degradation, fall, rebuilding of society again and again, we have never, as a species, had the level of technology and control and like AI fucking intelligence point out the dissidents immediately and all the stuff that they have today in this country and around the world
Yeah.
as we do now. And I don't think, short of some crazy like fucking like crazy war against who knows who, because like they're in every country and they're nowhere at the same time, right? So who do you fight even? Like, let's say we beat these people.
Right.
I just don't see it happening, dude. I don't see, because they're too dug in, they're too diverse, they're too integrated, and even if you got rid of as many of them as you could find, there'd still be tons of them everywhere, and you're still going to have this technological control of society from a centralized whoever. And I just don't see how you get rid of that. It's a scary thing, dude. It's a scary thing. We're in uncharted territory.
Well, I mean, the thing is, what is it? Every 75, 80 years, we always have that like fourth turning event.
Yeah.
I assume this is ours at this point, honestly. And the thing is, I've been talking personally about balkanization for the past 5 years, basically. And I believe, truthfully, we're not looking at like a 6-month war or a year war. It's going to be like a 10-year war, because it's basically going to go from a civil war to racial wars and then finally to a revolution. And I don't think a lot of us are going to make it to that point.
I see the racial war stuff boiling up a lot lately, and it's not pretty.
I think that's going to get worse the closer to the election we get.
And you see these stories of like people doing fucked up shit, and it's only a matter of time until people start doing more fucked up shit to fight back against it, and then you know, the excuses are gone and it's on.
Well, you heard about that story out of Memphis this week, right? Where the guy was driving around shooting people.
Right.
Was that the one where the video of the guy talking about how he's going to like try to find white people and kill them?
Yes. And then there was others that basically said the same thing after that. They were like, oh, we're going to do a copycat shit now.
Yeah. And how many of those that happen until you start getting some reactionary violence going on from the other side, let's say. And then it's on, dude. Then the government and everybody's on that side, not our side, against us because of that. And we're going to be targets. And because you have a gun, you're going to be a target. Because you believe in the Second Amendment, because you believe in freedom, and because you don't want this fucking crazy government looking over your shit all the time, you're going to be the target. And they're going to come after you because at some point you might be a threat. Even if you don't ever plan on being one, even if that was never a thought in your mind and you having a gun was simply for fun or something, you didn't even want to use it for self-protection, doesn't matter. Guilty by association.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I found that out firsthand 3 years ago when I was federally swatted, and it was not a fun day.
Again, black build. I don't know what to say, guys. Like,
it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I get what you're saying. With all the bullshit that we're dealing with and the unforeseen bullshit that's coming our way, you know what I mean?
So what do? You get your kids ready as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
You get your supplies and your circle of people to help one another out together now. But it's probably too late if you don't have it.
Yeah, I think it's a little. I mean, you can still try to, get all your ducks in a row that way, but you're way behind the curve, and you'd have to play a lot of catch up, and I don't think it's gonna happen. Something's coming our way. Something big.
I mean, it's only a matter of time until the value of the dollar takes a fucking huge hit. And when that huge hit happens, for a short period of time, there's going to be some problems. And that's going to be people hungry, people desperate people do evil, bad, terrible things to other people. And there's going to be a lot of that going on.
Well, many historians say, if your population isn't fat and happy, you either have two options at the end. You either had a dictatorship that's willing to quell the civil war or the revolution, or you either have those two.
Yeah, you're either going to have a dictator to quell the revolution or a revolution. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. The every historian that I've recently read about always says it always starts when your population isn't fat and happy, and then it always leads to. But what about entertainment? Doesn't matter. Entertainment is just a cycle. Is as long as your population isn't fat and happy, you're you're met. You're fucked at this point. It doesn't
Well,
matter. The process has begun. It has happened during. It has happened China, Vietnam, uh, France. It has happened all over the world, and it always starts with the decline when your population first sees it isn't fat and happy.
Well, I
And
mean,
that
it's also like the unequal application of law. It's like you can't have a society when the society itself perceives that there's injustice within that society, right? So if you and your society don't believe in the rule of law because the barrel of the government and the rule of law is pointed against you, then there's decisions that you're gonna make that aren't good for the state, right? And also, if you work really hard, let's say, and you save all your money and you do everything that you can to get ahead and you save, and then you look at your bank account and realize that all of the money that you saved is going to buy a cart worth of groceries now.
If that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a perception of injustice. And
no,
when
I
there's a
agree.
well, hold on. When there's a perception of injustice with enough people within a society, that society necessarily has to go through either revolutionary change or balkanization, breaking up of that society, or strongman dictatorship.
No, and I agree, but there's more outcomes of when a population has reached its point where it's not adequately enough resources of food, because I guess that's the underlying factor. What I have noticed is that when a population, you could theoretically keep your population suppressed for a lot longer time if they're happily and they're fat and pretty much fat and happy. Until that point kind of splits is when there's a lot of, it doesn't matter what is the rule of law, it doesn't matter if it's a dictatorship. It just that seems like a normal theoretical way of concluding that when shit hits the fan.
Well, I mean, if the only social cohesion that you have within a society is the fact that there's plenty of resources to go around, and that's why society works, is because everybody's, quote, fat and happy, and then you take that fat and happy away, it immediately falls apart. If you have a cohesive society that's based upon principles and tradition and blah, 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 right?
Mhm.
And that they go through a hard time where things aren't as plentiful, they tend to stick together.
I can see that, but when I don't know what year, but when America had someone back before China, I mean, sorry, before Vietnam was split, before the Vietnam War, we had I think a president that we installed. Forgot his name at this very moment because it's kind of late.
Ling
But
Ling.
well, I don't know. They tried to keep they try to emulate the West, the Americas, and as soon as the famine of the rice famine and some other famines occurred, that just it broke the side of it broke the society itself. It whatever it progressed failed, and the I guess the part that kind of broke it was that when the US just sent in some FBI guys just to assassinate their already installed president of Vietnam.
Well, I mean, that doesn't really, it's still an installed government. It's still not a cohesive society. I'm looking more at, like, I don't know, Egypt during the reign of Cleopatra or something, right? Like, if they went through a period of time where there wasn't a lot of food, the country made it through. The monarch still was in power. The gold was still in the vault. People still worked and did stuff. Just a bunch of people happened to starve to death and society moved forward.
Mhm.
Versus, let's say, I don't know, fucking Afghanistan, right? We put a government in there. As soon as we weren't backing that government directly with troops and force and bombs and intelligence and training and everything, it took what, a day and a half for that government to fall?
Yeah, probably day and a half.
Because it wasn't a cohesive society that was backing that government. We don't have that in this country today. We don't have a cohesive society that's willing to go through hardship in the name of the benefit of the state. We were talking about it the other day. Like, what if 9/11 happened again, right? Do you think we'd have the same reaction? Do you think you'd have the unity and the fucking...
camaraderie?
Yeah.
No.
You'd have just more division and more people gaslighting one another and, like, you know, making fun of someone who lost their mom or something like that, you know, just to get clicks.
Yep.
That's where we're at now. It's not a cohesive society. When things get hard, it will fall apart.
And back to the fat and happy, we're getting to a point here soon where we're not going to be fat and happy. I mean, that video you showed earlier where they were purposely destroying the tires on the fucking food trucks, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and like how many fires at food plants and how many new regulations on people with cows, and not only in this country, but I mean, like, look at what's going on, like the Dutch farmer strike. What was that all about? Oh, well, that was actually, if you look into it, they were trying to reduce their
carbon emissions
livestock by 70% this year. So if you had 1,000 cows, you now have 300. Can you continue to operate your farm on 30%? Probably not. So you're putting the guy out of business by implementing these fucking rules and regulations and bullshit. And that's why they were shoveling manure on the fucking steps of the parliament or whatever, you know? Kind of makes sense.
Well, how many herds in America have already been culling, you know?
Right. Well, beef is cheap right now, and it continues to be, but how long does that last when they're culling more than they're breeding? By a lot. And that's...
I don't think we're going to last for a long while, to be honest.
I remember hearing something a few months ago where they were talking about the possibility, because of all the droughts and everything, dairy cows being slaughtered, and if that happens, we are fucked as a country.
Well, it's already happened. It's already happening since we've been having this, like, you know, hot weather here in California and the drought and not being able to have enough hay and alfalfa. Some dairy farms have been slaughtering, obviously in stages, slaughtering the older cows and then slaughtering the calves because they either have the milk for the mother or they don't have the milk for the mother because they got to produce it. Mind you, most people don't know that when a cow is born, they already know roughly by the way the cow is born how much milk they will produce. So if they have this measurement and other stuff, once they figure out it's not a cow that's going to produce the quantity of the milk, they just butcher it for veal.
Well, I mean, why are they pushing like crickets and beetles and all of these other bugs that people are starting to eat? And you're finding, like, I haven't seen them in my grocery store yet, but I haven't really been looking. But they're starting to pop up in grocery stores now where you can buy like beetle flour to make beetle bread with or whatever, like cricket flour, I mean, right? They're pushing these alternative foods forward because they're really cheap to make. They're really cheap to fucking feed you. If you just decide that it's okay to eat a cricket, then, you know, now you can live on crickets, I guess, right? That's your new protein.
Mealworm butter.
Yeah, like all this shit. Why are they pushing that? Because the environment, I guess? No, because they want to control you. Because they want you to not have the freedom to work and do what you want to do and not answer to a guy. I mean, like, ultimately, that's what a libertarian wants. Just to be left alone, right? Just leave me alone. Don't fuck with my shit. Don't steal from me. I mean, maybe if someone steals from me, it would be nice to have someone to, like, help me enforce the law or whatever, or like, get my shit back. But I could just as easily go to my neighbors back in the day, you know, and be like, hey, they're, you know, like, John down the street's a piece of shit and he stole my horse. Like, let's go get him. Okay, let's go get him, you know? Can't do that now. You gotta rely on the fucking government to enforce laws, which, by the way, they're enforcing asymmetrically, which is, again, going to lead to the downfall of society, which is where we went down this whole rabbit hole to begin with.
Yeah. Hey, Tony Smith, is that true? He says the government pays him not to farm his land.
They do that all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it
do.
happens here a lot.
Yeah.
There's
They
a
figure out how much you produce, and they're like, "Hey, buddy, old pal."
well, in theory, here's how it works in theory, right? Like, everybody grows corn, everybody produces a fuck ton of corn. We've got a fuck ton of corn, but the price of corn is dirt cheap because we've got so much fucking corn. Now, the little farmer who made corn can't sell his corn for enough to continue to farm. But if we pay a couple of farmers to not make corn, then the price of corn won't be so high, and then the little farmer can make corn and survive. That's the theory.
Yeah. Yeah.
How it works in practice, I'm not sure.
So if they're paying people not to farm the land, what if they go ahead and farm it anyways?
Then you don't get paid.
Well, there's a breach of contract on it.
That I don't know. The only thing I know is that obviously you guys sign paperwork, and if you still do the land, it has to do with pretty much what Honda said. It has to do with the market value of corn or whatever of that produce, because they don't want it, because they get a market share.
Oversaturated.
Yeah, so you don't want to make corn, let's say, for that you see it like, you know, your local grocery store 5 for $1. You don't want to see like, oh, you can get 5 for like only 25 cents, or it's cheaper than that. I think they just want to not inflate, but what's
Keep
the correct
prices current to a standard that they want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yosh says, what if your neighbor and Bob down the street are friends and decide to fuck you over? That's true, and that did happen. That did happen. But you got to remember how many years this country existed, how many areas of this country did not have police. We did not have a police force. Maybe there was like a federal marshal, right? Where if you murdered someone in Kansas City and you decided that you wanted to get away with it and you went down to like Florida or something, there was a federal marshal that could go across state lines and arrest you. But when it came to interpersonal disputes, you had local magistrates, you had posses, you had maybe a sheriff at some point, you had sheriffs, yes, which was law enforcement. But that didn't come till later, man. There was like years and years and years of time where there was no such thing as a police officer.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I think the first police force was in New York City in the early 1900s or late 1800s. There was a bunch of orphans who lived in New York City who were running around like pickpocketing and doing vandalism and doing all kinds of shit. And the local people didn't know what to do about them because it's like a city problem, and it was the first big city problem that they had. So they created a police force to go after them. And yes, there were federal marshals who were technically a police officer, and you can make that argument, but that's the libertarian argument, is you want minimal government, right? You only want that federal officer there when your local posse or you and Bob can't fucking handle it. You can't fucking come together and solve that problem.
One time I read in a scholarly journal that some of what we see as the police derived from the Civil War, where there was a group of people that went to go capture runaway slaves.
Well, there was that too, but that wasn't, again, that's not a police force. That's
a lot of it derived from that, I guess. Not saying 100%, but
I don't agree with it. But like that, and effectively, they were police, and what they were doing was going out and finding the guy and bringing him back to the fucking slave colony or whatever. But it's still they weren't police. They were a posse. They were a gang. They were a fucking group of dudes who got together and had horses and guns, you know?
Basically like a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
I guess, but I read somewhere that they were given some, like, documentation of that they can cross state lines.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that they were a farm, not totally, but they were given some documentation that is equivalent to a badge.
You want me to come across to California and force some shit on your ass?
Well, I mean, no, but prefer not to.
Yeah, I'm not the kind of guy to go around telling people what to do.
Well,
Like
neither
today-
am I. Like, neither
Today,
am I.
for instance, at the gym, there was this guy who was annoying me. And the way that he was annoying me was you can set down the weights, right? Or you can like get them to chest high and just drop them and make as much noise as possible. So every time you're done with your set, it's like kaboom, boom, boom, or like the fucking weights like clink down on the thing. It's like, dude, are you trying to break shit? Like, what are you fucking doing? Like, I almost said something to him, but I'm like, nah, just put in your fucking headphones. I don't know why
Hey, that's how you get those
I'm
gains.
back, guys.
Boy,
The more noise you make on the on your set, the more you gain.
Yep, that's the rule.
Yeah, that's
don't
like
mind
saying putting flames on your car makes it go faster.
I don't mind if like you're getting to like your like 8, 9, number 10th, and you kind of grunt when you do it. You're like, rah, as you're fucking pushing up. I get it. I do that sometimes. If on a random set you accidentally drop the weight from too high, okay, that happens sometimes. If it's every time you're done with the set, fuck you. You don't know how to lift weights. You're abusing everything. You're just being a piece of shit. And then he went up to the hot chick and was talking to her. And it's like, God damn it, dude. Like, you're just stereotypical, aren't you?
Oh, there's a word for those types of guys. It's something bag. Yeah, a douchebag. That's it.
It's like, I was like working on my delts there. Is this a good technique or?
Yeah.
Fuck you, you faggot. Sorry.
D-bag. No, but we were talking a second ago. I when I got disconnected, I'm sorry about that. If I can digress for a moment, I think the level of technology and stuff like that. Let me go ahead and white pill you a little bit, or a gray pill you, like I like to say. All of the king's horses and all of the king's men couldn't put Afghanistan down. You know, you mentioned all of the tech and stuff like that and everything that we're up against. But truth be told, the two mightiest empires in the world, could not put a bunch of tribal people down. You know what I mean? Using guerrilla warfare tactics. I don't know if you saw on the Discord chat where it shows a Mujahideen fighter sitting next to a Viet Cong, and the Mujahideen says, "How did I do?" And the Viet Cong says, "Not bad at all." Like that. And this was right around the time when Afghanistan fell, when we left Afghanistan in a hurry and things went south, about a year ago or so. And truth be told, the mightiest empires in the world are no match against a determined amorphous enemy. You know what I mean? So all of that technology and everything, there's ways around it. There's ways around it. Like tomorrow, we could all get inside 1957 Chevys, smash our cell phones, and go completely dark. If we have the will. You know what I mean? So, I wouldn't get.
Well, my counter to that, and my point with that is exactly what you just said, is we would have to do that. Because basically the way things are set up now, it's like Captain America Civil War, where they're on the flying ships and they've got everybody targeted, and it's everybody that could possibly fight against them. They already, and it wouldn't be like that, but they would certainly know where every single person is who could potentially be this or that, or have this mindset, or have this product, or whatever it is that they'd have to go after, and they would start going after those people, and that's scary.
But we're talking, okay, it's frightening. The way I see it, that particular aspect of the government's like a puffer fish. It's bigger than it really. It looks bigger than what it really is. Now, don't get me wrong. Do they have the ability to do raids on certain targeted individuals? Yes. But if you're talking like the actual patriots, you're talking like 10 million plus. And that's a lot of people. That's a lot of dudes.
No,
you know what I mean? So I mean. While they have a formidable capability, they have formidable law enforcement capabilities and stuff like that. There's a whole lot of X factors that go into executing I guess, what do you call it, like a coup or a takeover or some sort of final lockdown. You know what I mean? And there's a couple of X factors, not the least of which is the whole army is not going to be with them. The whole police force is not going to be with them. You know what I mean? You're going to start to see and here's another thing. One of the things that we observed. And I'm not a veteran of the armed forces. Let me go ahead and say that up front. But one thing I observed is that the more the United States and its allies attacked these tribal people, the more dissidents they created. Now, I think that that's human nature. I think that the more we are attacked, the more dissidents are going to start coming out of the woodwork. I think that's how it works.
Let's just hope that they don't start using drones against American people as weapons. Like, they don't have DARPA dogs with machine guns, and like you keep seeing these videos. You keep seeing these videos from Ukraine where they have a flying drone with a bomb attached to it, and the drone flies like 100 feet off the ground directly above the target that they want to destroy. It just drops the bomb, and the dudes are sitting on the blocks, like completely safe doing it. Like that kind of shit. How long is it till that is legal to use drone strikes and DARPA dogs against American citizens on U.S. soil? And if that happens, though, then the whole not all the soldiers are down with it. There's not enough police. Kind of goes out the window. Yeah.
Not necessarily, because if you have soldiers and police, they have that know how to countermeasure that stuff. Who all of a sudden join.
As far as having a unified fighting force that doesn't have some portion of it that's sympathetic to the enemy, drone don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Drone goes where drone is told to go and drops the bomb where drone is told to drop.
So I have a counter argument for all of you. Okay, how do we know that our military isn't going to do anything? Well, not let me rephrase it. How do we know that not all the military is going to do something? Because last time I checked, we, as the United States, went into many conflicts under lies. So what happens if, I'll give you one example. Let's say some special operation people decide to let's say we're talking right now, and they classify us as terrorists. You don't think they'll give them the orders like, hey, these are terrorists, they're planning something big, and lie to them, and then they do harm unto us based on lies?
They're already talking like that. I mean, like the rhetoric that Biden was using during the whole red speech or whatever you want to call it really reminded me of George Bush Jr. before we went into Iraq and Afghanistan. Talking about how Osama bin Laden and fucking Saddam Hussein.
You're either with us or you're with the terrorists, and the evildoers, and the terrorists, and the doers of evil, and that shit.
It was very reminiscent of that. And if history follows true, hey, here's what the president was talking about, here's what we did next, who's the target of this most recent speech? Where is that going?
Now here's
I see what to fucking drone strikes.
Yes, I see what you're saying, but here's the thing: while the airwaves are still active, every libertarian / conservative / anything, anybody who's got any kind of sway, whether it's Jordan Peterson or Jocko Willink, is going to have to call this thing out. You know what I mean? Is going to have to call this thing out and be like, look, you don't know what you're doing. If you are a soldier, please don't do this. Jocko Willink could be like, to all my special operators, and I'm not saying that he would say this, but he might. to all my special operators, he's like, something stinks, something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Don't do this. Do not open fire on, because you may be opening fire on a fellow veteran, that kind of stuff. And everybody from A to Z, because I mean, if you look at the red speech that he gave, and let's just call it the red speech because that's a good name for it, because it sounded authoritarian, communist, and the lights were red. Look at how many people are calling the president out, are crying foul and calling shenanigans on what that was. People on the right and the left and the center are like, hey, wait a minute. Wait just a cotton picking minute. That's bullcrap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the way
we've all seen.
Oh shit!
Go ahead.
No, you just robot it.
Well, the way I look at that is like that was them. First of all, showing where they want to go, right? Like here's the roadmap, here's the destination on that map that we want to make it to, right? But that was also them dipping their toe in that water and realizing, it's still a little too cold. We got to boil these frogs a little bit more. We got to move the Overton window a little bit more in that direction, right? And once people are ready for it, then we'll try it again, right? Oh, we tried it, didn't work.
Yeah.
Same thing with like gun control, right? Like, tried a weapons ban, didn't quite work. Let's see after the next mass shooting. Let's see how people feel then. We'll wait till that Overton window moves a little bit more and a little bit more, and when the timing's right, we'll fucking get it then.
Yeah, they're just setting up the pitch before they crush it.
Here's the thing.
I'm not saying they'll ever make it. I'm not saying that they will. I'm just saying that I see that as a potential future, and it's terrifying. It is goddamn terrifying because you're right. We would have to throw away our cell phones. There would no longer be a Gay Frog Chat or Late Night with Honda or Honda 420 channel or Never Enough Ammo or anybody else on YouTube who has anything to say about this shit. And the people like the Jocko Willink and the whoever else that you just mentioned in the mainstream media would be vilified and fucking strung up like fucking Waco, right? What was that guy's name? I can't remember. David
Koresh.
Yeah, you'd be made out to be like the same ilk as like a David Koresh or a whoever. And when you are strung up and burned in front of the public on TV, 12-year-old kids will cheer because they believe it, right? Once they get enough people on board, then like they can demonize anybody. They can turn anybody into the next terrorist or whoever who speaks out against the thing. And that's where that's again where it gets scary, is because they're using fucking social media as like their czar of disinformation to go after people who have wrong speak, Yeah. And the further down the line it goes, it's scary. It's just scary.
My whole point is that not all is not lost. There's still, I mean, like I've seen some of the conservative pundits that I've been listening to are looking at Biden's red speech and openly mocking it. You know what I mean? And they did a poll that said like the centrists are, for the most part, disavowed that speech. They're like, yeah, that was a bridge too far. Now, here's the thing. With regards to the frog in the pot metaphor, which I'm all too familiar with, they're running out of time, I think, before all of their tricks and all of their wizardry becomes impotent or non-potent. Now, so when they find out you're running out of time, you turn up the heat a little bit more. But if you turn up the heat too much, the frog starts to squirm and make like it's going to jump out. That's what's going on right now. Yep. That red speech was them turning up the heat ever so slightly, and the frog making like, hey, it's going to jump out. That right there, that speech made a lot of people uneasy, including a lot of normies like centrists. Right. People like you and I. Go ahead.
You've seen them back off that speech though since then, like the White House press briefings where they're like, well, we weren't talking about these people. We were talking about the MAGA Republicans who vote this way are the ones who we were talking about when we like bull fucking shit. That's not what you fucking meant.
No, and here's the thing. They can try and backpedal, but the words are already out there in the ether.
Exactly.
It's already there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You cannot unsay what has been said, and the people who heard it cannot unhear it.
They knew.
You know what I'm saying?
Up.
So,
what is dead may never die.
Right. Yeah.
Game of Thrones. I said, what is dead may never die.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. To be honest with you, and don't get me wrong, I know you guys like Game of Thrones. I have not seen episode 1 of Game of Thrones.
How dare you?
Please
sir.
try not to hold it against me. I know, right? How dare you? Right?
You need to binge
Hey, but
watch
I'm into
the
other
shit out of
science
that
fiction.
show.
I'm into other stuff like Star Trek, and I'm into Marvel comics and some other stuff like that too. So I mean, the nerdisms are not lost on me completely. So
Okay, what's your favorite Star Trek series?
my favorite Star Trek series is Deep Space Nine.
Ha! All right.
Yeah.
Good sir. You have
Deep
the correct
sleep.
Yeah,
answer to this question.
the political intrigue and the political jockeying and the massive fleets, the Dominion fleets going up against the Allied fleets, was what practically gave me a hard on. I was like, I actually did some memes and posters where the Dominions are and like the Cardassians are all lined up, and then the Federation, the Klingons, and the what's the other ones? The Romulans are all lined up on the other side. It's like, you want the Alpha Quadrant? Come and take it. You know what I mean? And that was the caption, and I was like, yes. You know.
Well, you kind of have to skip season 1. Season 1's not great.
Yeah, no, it kind of drags, and that was before what's his face, the actor that played Cisco, really kind of got his groove on as Captain Cisco.
That's why.
And
he was getting his feet. But
yeah, he was getting his sea legs underneath him. Yeah, his space legs.
I agree, man.
So,
good job. Good answer.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Nerdism confirmed, right?
All right. Well, we've been going 3 hours now, and I think we're going to end this on a high.
Yeah.
Feels like it just got going.
I know, right? I'm off. I just got off of work, and I'm in sitting here talking to you guys has kind of invigorated me just a little bit.
Well, shit. Now I feel like a dick for saying I wanted to end it.
Yeah.
And
Are you
Enterprise?
Say again?
I usually
the
hang
correct
out.
answer is Enterprise. That's what I said.
I usually hang out for a little bit after the chat, but I don't have to be as intent sitting here talking in front of the computer at that point. So it's nice to after 3 hours of it anyway. That's all. Although I did a 24-hour chat not too long ago, so I guess I have the ability to keep going if need be.
I heard a myth about a 24-hour chat that you did one time, but I thought it was only the stuff of legend.
No, I literally sat here for 24 hours straight, and I did not have. I mean, I talked the whole fucking just like we're doing now. Like there was no break.
That was a long.
Man, I can hear your ball. Yeah, I can hear your balls clink, bro. Seriously.
It was rough, man. It was rough. I literally had to eat 3 times in that amount of time. Like we went to the drive-thru. People were dropping in super chats for me to say to the fucking drive-thru lady.
Talking in German.
It was fun, dude. It was a good time. It hurt by
yes,
the end.
I'll have 2 Wiener Schnitzels. 2 Wiener Schnitzels, bitte.
Would you like my Wiener Schnitzel?
Yeah.
I will put it in your bun.
Yeah, I slept for like a.
But you sounded a little bit like. You sounded a little bit like Beavis just now. Put it in my tippy for my bunghole.
I am Cornholio.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Hell yeah. Hell yes, we're gonna take your AR-15. Are you threatening me, bunghole?
All right.
I can actually take credit for that meme. I actually took Butthead in a suit, and I put the caption. I was like, he looks just like Beto. And I was like, I put the caption is like, hell yes, we're gonna take your guns. And then the Beavis on the don't tread on me snake. I can take credit for that meme. I created that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm getting tired. I think it's time to end it. We will be back tomorrow.
Oh, boo.
For some gay frog action, though. Some hardcore gay frog action in your face, rubbing gay balls all over your cheeks like wet handkerchiefs.
Órale.
Wow.
Oh.
All that good stuff.
All righty. So
it's going to be on the hub.
Are we going to hang out in the chat for a second, or in just like end the YouTube stream, or what?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, after the chat, I usually hang out for a bit, but I'm just not as active as I am when the chat is going. Is all. So yeah.
Right.
But But thanks for showing up, everybody. Thank you for everyone on the panel for participating tonight. It was fun. It was appreciated. But again, we'll be back tomorrow night with Dave Frog Chat. Peace out.
Penis.
Take it easy.
Penis.
Later, Tank Tickler.